tuning in to the Scaleup track. So we are starting off with our first company for the day. We have Anirban from AdaptRadius. Just to give you a brief overview, AdaptRadius is a bespoke IoT asset intelligence solution for regulated industries. Anirban, how about you start off with your pitch, and then we can move to the question and answer afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Priyanshi. I hope everyone can see my screen. My name is Anirban Gupta, and I am the founder of AdaptRadius. I have two other co-founders, Prashant Dharawat and Sai Kiran, who are not joining in today. I'll be running the presentation. AdaptRadius is an end-to-end IoT venture where we target track and trace and asset intelligence for supply chain, particularly the cold chain industry and the biopharma sector for their cargo. We are an end-to-end one-stop shop where right from hardware to network to all the way to portals and dashboards and alerts, everything is developed in-house, and we make our own devices and sensors through our partner manufacturer, but they are all designed by us, and the intellectual property all resides with us. We are also present in multiple geographies, primarily Australia, where we started our journey, and this year we started our first operations in the USA. India happens to be our back office in terms of development and support, and we are headquartered in Singapore. One of the biggest USPs of our products is that we have multiple redundancies in terms of network connectivity, as IoT requires constant connectivity, especially when an asset is moving across geographies. And we are able to fall back on whether it's Wi-Fi or whether it's 3G, 2G, all the way to GSM, our devices can support, and of course the current 4G, 5G connectivity as well. Besides this, one of the other biggest advantage of having the entire design team in-house is that in the recent semiconductor supply crunch, we were able to pivot our designs in such a way that we were able to avoid certain chips that were in short supply and yet without compromising the quality of our devices and the supply of our devices. These are our flagship products. Kelvin is for moving assets. It does temperature tracking. Apart from temperature, it does light, shock, and of course location. It's got a flight mode where an aircraft, when it takes off, it automatically detects that and switches off the radio in order to comply with the IATA and aviation guidelines, and also comes automatically off the flight mode when the aircraft has landed. It's an internally developed, in-house developed intellectual property that we have for our devices. Pixel is for warehouses, and Proton is the traditional data logger, which is based on USB, where you can download the data. All of the data flows into a cloud-based platform, which can be accessed through any browser, and it provides real-time alerts and notifications along with reports and analytics. All the devices are reusable, and hence they also meet various sustainability targets for a lot of our clients. As you can see, the end-to-end supply chain is covered by us across various facets of the supply chain. Our devices are very seamlessly embedded, and they can give you the full visibility across the network. The dashboard has multiple sections and modules which provides insights into how the shipment is tracking in terms of its health and in terms of where it is at any point in time, including the health of the device also. In terms of the market, it's a growing market. As post-pandemic, there's been a lot of thrust on the cold chain logistics, especially as pharma companies have invested more in temperature sensitive goods and vaccines being primarily one of them. And our other strategic advantage is that we don't just have off-the-shelf devices, we also are able to customize them to suit our clients' requirements, providing them with a competitive edge. And the other entry barrier in our industry is the fact that there are multiple compliances that one has to undergo. And as we have matured over the years, we have met and we meet and we continue to also strive for additional compliances across the globe to be able to be accepted and as an industry standard. And that is reflected in the clients who are now working with us, be it global logistics leaders like DHL, or for that matter, major supply chain manufacturing companies like Coca-Cola, Pfizer, and Bayer. And the outlook is very strong based on all the big names that we have, where we expect to hit good revenue numbers in the coming months. A day in the life of our solution is that it gets packed in a box and then gets shipped anywhere in the world, and the entire event can be tracked online without any human intervention of someone having to scan it or do anything, or any Bluetooth dependency or any dependency on any other technology, because it's just simple cellular technology and it's available everywhere in the world, and it can give you the health of the entire asset. Finally, these are our compliances that we have done, and these are some other airlines that we are approved to fly, and the list continues to get bigger and bigger as we continue to push the boundaries. That's about it. That's AdaptRadius in a nutshell.
Perfect. Thank you, Anirban. I just wanted to maybe touch upon one question I was a bit curious about, given what you've explained about the product. So how is what makes AdaptRadius different from other upcoming IoT providers in terms of the product or the scope of it?
Thanks, Priyanshi, for the question. Our biggest advantage is the fact that it's a multi-sensor device which is fully compliant, and it's to a niche sector, which is the biopharma and cold chain logistics. And that is in itself a competitive advantage, because it's not a generic tracker. It has met a lot of compliances, and that's our biggest. And the other thing is that it's flexible to meet a lot of customization needs of clients, especially in the pharma sector, depending on various use cases that they wish to track. We are able to customize them without having to redesign or re-engineer the device itself or the solution itself. So those are the two key features. And the third one is all this at an affordable price, because we are a SaaS model. So there is no upfront huge investment on the part of the client to do these, to adopt or embrace this kind of technology, which they are already spending money on, because there's already a data logger compliance that they have to pay for. And this shift is giving them much better and more granular digital information at real time, without having to spend more.
Okay, interesting. And just for the ones viewing out there, AdaptRadius is one of our portfolio companies at Angel Hub. So definitely looking forward to seeing, AdaptRadius grow, as well as, how far it can reach within the vaccine space, within the biomedical space, and onwards. So thank you, Anirban, once again for your time today. And we'll be moving on to the next company.
Thank you. Thank you, Priyanshi. Thank you, everyone.
Hi, everyone. As of now, we have our next company, which will be Anagog. So Anagog is a company that enables privacy and personalization to coexist, empowering companies to strengthen their customer relationship and maximize the potential of their apps. Just 1 second, we have a slight technical issue.
think that you are on mute.
Everybody, yes, we're on mute, as it is with tech conferences. So moving to their next company, we have Anagog, which is one of our portfolio companies as well at Angel Hub. Upcoming portfolio company. So we will be covering what Anagog does, which is privacy and personalization to coexist. They empower companies to strengthen customer relationships and maximize the potential of their apps. I'll pass on to Ofer, who will be sharing with us a bit more about Anagog, and then we'll move on to question and answer at the end of the pitch. Thank you for leaving you the floor.
Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. In the meantime, I'm sharing my screen. So I'm Ofer Zipperman, and I'm going to walk you through some very interesting technology in the field of artificial intelligence that is running in the phone and not in the cloud. And we took that into the direction of mobile personal engagement, yet with full privacy. As you can see, we are already backed by major names in the industry. The size of the market for mobile marketing engagement is huge, expected to reach $126 billion by 2027, and it's going to be led by customer experience, as Gartner is claiming. And in that case, there is a major issue that today there is a very big difficulty to offer personalized solution, yet with privacy. Usually they cannot coexist. So this is what we are actually trying to solve. And the background for this difficulty is that there are very fierce regulations that are being deployed on a global basis. It started with the GDPR, but right now expanded actually over the globe. And even a harsher problem is the major changes that both Apple and Google did to their operating systems, which is now known as the ID crisis. And into this environment, Anagog came with a solution that is turning everything on its head. So we took the effort to come with a technology that moves the AI from the cloud into the phone, which is a much more restrictive platform. And by doing that, we managed to achieve better personalization with better context, higher privacy, and even to reduce to a great extent the cost of the cloud. This technology goes into any existing application. It might be a retailer app or a banking app or an insurance app as an SDK. And once it is in the phone, it is completely independent. It doesn't, and it will not send to Anagog any personal information. And then by using all type of attributes that can found by the SDK in the phone without any external data, it can fuse them all so that now the phone can understand the profile of the user, the phone can understand the context, the phone can even predict what that user is likely to do next, and there is even an option to collect anonymized and aggregated data. And the fact that Anagog can do all of these algorithms only in the phone with less than 1% of battery for a full day is by far the best in the industry, and this is our claim to fame. Maybe on this slide, I will give a high-level explanation. On the left side, you see what everybody else are doing. AI is always located in the cloud, given high computation requirements. It needs to collect all the personal information from our phones, digest it in the cloud so that later on it can push the relevant campaign to the relevant individual. This is a privacy issue. With Anagog, the AI is sitting in the phone, and in the cloud, you just need to define the rules of the campaign. And then the phone is just pulling the rules anonymously. It doesn't have to identify itself back to the cloud, but the end game is simply phenomenal. You can offer someone significantly more personal and contextual offering, but you don't need to know who that individual is. And that's a huge change in the industry, which is very much welcomed by the industry. In fact, immediately when this is going into the phone, it can identify hundreds of first-party data elements. All of them remain in the phone. And then Gartner is already recognizing us as a market leader, and other market researchers are putting us in good company, and we got a lot of awards. This is deep technology. We already got 27 patents, out of which 20 are already granted in the United States. And these are the domains that we are taking this technology. Retail is probably going to be our largest, but we so far got it also into other very major kind of applications. With that, I would like to thank you. And of course, if there are any questions, I would be very happy to answer.
Thank you, Ofer, for the quick pitch on Anagog. It's definitely interesting to see, how privacy is taken in this industry and how you're interpreting it to, meet the needs of your customers. So kind of on that note, how do you think what is a big impact that your Edge AI offers to your customers compared to, traditional cloud-based solutions within this space?
Yeah, this is actually a very interesting point. A cloud will never understand that you just now left home. A cloud will never understand that you're right now on the train. So Anagog first brings the context, and the context is, as we see it right now with our customers, is giving huge impact on the level of engagement that you can offer. Second, of course, is the option to collect types of information that otherwise you never know. Your phone can understand if you have a smartwatch, what type of smartwatch. Your phone can understand what type of car you're driving. So issues that others simply do not have access to, your phone knows it, and it will never leave your phone. So it is better personalization, yet with higher privacy.
Okay, understood. And in terms of privacy today, how important do you think it is for customers when they make a decision regarding their business? We obviously see big companies out here being fined large amounts in terms of flagging privacy rules. So how important do you think it is, and the landscape will change in the coming few years?
It is so important that we made it our first, selling point, because we see that every such sale is after the first introduction, is meeting the legal department, which we are very happy to, because they want to understand that we are not part of the problem, but rather the solution to the problem. But that only shows how concerned they are. They realize that the rules of the game have changed drastically, and they have to find a solution, or otherwise they're going to be fined in a critical way. And we just saw what happened in China in the last year, to realize how dramatic these issues might be.
Understood. Yeah, it definitely makes sense, with the points you mentioned. I think that's where we'll close off, and we'll move to the next startup. So thank you so much, Ofer, once again, for shining the light in Anagog as well as the landscape in the future.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Moving to the next startup we have with us today is Cappy. So Cappy does security for all. They provide capture services offering simple yet powerful protection for brute force login attacks, credential stuffing, as well as other automated threats. So we have Mitsuo Okada from Cappy, who is the founder of Cappy. Mitsuo, it's nice to have you here with us today. We wanted to first, say thank you for being part of our Scale Up track, and wanted to just give you, your chance to explain what Cappy is all about. Feel free to share any, screens that you have, to present any slides you have, and I'll give you the floor.
Great. Can you let me share the screen?
Yes.
Let me check. Okay. Okay. All right. Hello. Okay. My name is Mitsuo. I got a PhD from computer science. And in brief, since we already have 5 minutes, so I go very quickly. What we make is much better capture than Google's. Recently, you see the left-hand side. You get asked to select the smiling duck, because I can, I understand how duck smiling, but most people had a hard time solving this problem. So what we made is just a complete puzzle to get verified as a human. This way, the old version takes like almost 20 seconds, but our capture only require like 5 seconds, which is much better. And we have already above 80 clients, including the most recent client. One of the major clients is web gaming company, which also utilizes NFT for NFT platformer. And I see there is a big chance, because recently I see a lot of article, lots of Web3 platformers struggle with finding a security solution. So we are getting into this market. with this new security product. And this market is very interesting because there are no number two player exists, either Google or open source. And as for market size, it's 400 million. Actually, this is not so big, so that's why we are getting into the authentication process. And this is how we are collecting data behind captcha, and we are building AI. And this is what we have right now, not just captcha, but we have captcha and FIDO, which is a new type of authentication, and security scoring, which is indispensable for smart AI. In the future, we utilize those AI to build a virtual CSO, Chief Security Officer. Okay, we have about 20 people in worldwide, and me, I'm in New York, and I have CTO in Bay Area, and I have some advisors as well. We have received over 15 hours. And we are Cappy Inc. The product name is, by the way, Lemming. And we have founded a company in 2012, almost 10 years. And we are looking for 20 million in Series A and 5 million quick bridge within that. The key event will be hiring marketing and R&D in the United States for the aggressive growth in the United States. Okay, that's it from me.
Great. Thank you, Mitsuo. I just had a few questions from the audience regarding your business. One of the questions is, what is the difference between lemon captcha and other captchas, such as recap, age captcha onwards?
Yeah, interesting story is one of our, no, actually more. Some of our clients switched from Google to our captcha because our captcha is customizable. And also, Google reCAPTCHA is not working in China, by the way, but our captcha works in China. And another part will be much easier. We have done A/B testing, and we got much better results in terms of the usability and also for the accuracy for the detecting bots.
Okay, and in terms of the user experience, how is it compared to other anti-bot solutions that are already out there?
You mean the selecting image?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so we have done A/B testing, and we compared the experience from the users, time and accuracy. Yep, go ahead.
Okay, and how long have you been working on this product? What kind of customers traction do you have so far? Where do you see yourself moving forward in the next 2-3 years?
Yeah, it's interesting because the customer is very diverse. We have customers in credit card company and insurance and what else, e-commerce and web gaming. So recently, I see a lot. We get lots of inquiries from Web3 platformers like cryptocurrency platform and NFTs and web gaming. So and also with a lot of article saying the platformer, the Web3 platformer are struggling with security things. So we're getting into the market.
Okay, interesting. It's quite interesting to see, the different applications for such a product. And are you going to be pivoting the business or expanding the services in Cappy as well? Or is this the kind of main product you're moving to really focus and expand into different other industry elements?
Yeah, we're expanding to, not pivoting, but we're expanding to authentication technologies as well.
Okay, understood. Thank you. So thank you again, Mitsuo, for your pitch, as well as being with us today, answering some of the questions. Hopefully you can tune in for the rest of the talks as well, and the Scaleup track, as well as the main stage. Thank you once again for your time today.
Thank you.
So we will take a quick break while we have the next company online. Great. So our next company, we have Glichi, and we have Jacob Wei, who's the CEO of Glichi. Glichi enables no-code creating of interactive VR training. They can apply their business to different sorts of industries, such as dental, as well as factory training. So maybe I'll leave it to Jacob to explain a bit more on Glichi, as well as its various applications. Great. And Jacob, nice to have you here today. I'll leave you the floor.
Thank you. And you can hear me and see my presentation?
Yes, we can.
Lovely. All right. I'm Jacob, as has been mentioned, and I'm the CEO of Glichi. And we are transforming training with the help of Metaverse with award-winning and patent-pending interaction technology. Now, the problem that we are focusing on is associated with the lack of good solution for enterprise staff, especially in areas where hard skills are needed. More than $300 billion are spent every year on corporate training. Despite this, more than 70% of this content is forgotten within the first 24 hours of the training. And more than 90% of executives agree that the existing training methods are not good enough. Now, we're seeing that virtual reality can be a fantastic solution to solve this problem. It allows you to step into an environment and actually practice a training in a simulated scenario. Among our clients, we've seen that they have both been able to speed up the training more than 400%. We've seen that 90% of the workers, even the experienced ones, are saying that they can do a better job after the VR training. And we've seen that there's a reduction in the amount of errors when we've been comparing groups that's gone through our VR training compared to using traditional trainings. So there's a lot of evidence and proof that this is actually working. And thanks to our patent pending training platform, we provide different tools to make it easy to create your own customized environment. And I will show some examples how this looks visually instead. So hopefully it's not lagging way too much. But we're using off-the-shelf type of hardware that you can purchase in any store for less than $300. It's very affordable and easy to get started. Thanks to our software, you can customize and adapt the different environments to your own likings. So for example, we have hospital clients that wants to adjust the environment to their specifications. You bake it in the cloud and you get a fully realistic environment that's suitable to your specific needs. You don't need to program anything. You don't need a professional 3D artist. You can do it all yourself. Further, thanks to our patent pending interaction technology, you can just toss in objects specifically for your environment. And the technology is automating the interaction. Now, this is a quite cumbersome process otherwise, where someone needs to program the different interaction elements, everything from picking the object up to using different tool sets. Thanks to our technology, we automate all of this. So it, in essence, allows you to step in and use your hands to perform any type of training. Now, this is really the cutting edge technology that we are contributing with and differentiating us compared to other companies providing different types of solution in this space. We provide authoring tools that allows you to go in and change the content of the training, for example, text boxes and instructions from a web interface. So you can actually update the text, change it to a new language without even having to jump into the VR experience. This is done purely through the cloud. It's pushed out through the headsets. We have different tools to allow you to edit and adjust the training. Finally, you can just jump in to our assessment center where it's possible to see the progress among the employees. You can actually do ROI calculations already from almost day one, at least week one. We can see the performance of the actual workers. We're selling this as an annual subscription where you're paying based on the number of users, the number of trainees, starting at $420 per seat. We launched it in the beginning of the year, back in Q1. We already reached more than 500 paying users. Our typical clients are a lot in the healthcare sector, where they've seen a big push due to the pandemic, where it's been quite difficult to teach the staff at the hospitals. The average client has already paid back the cost of the acquisition cost, the sales cost, the implementation cost, and the support within 8 months. So a very solid business and unit economics. We see some big trends across here. The rapid adoption of VR has been pushed partly through the pandemic, but also from hardware getting more accessible. The price has gone down from more than $1,500 for a hardware set, including computers, etc., that was needed just a few years ago, to less than $300 today. So it's affordable on a completely different level. We're also seeing that this technology is being adopted by small and medium enterprises, not just the multinational corporations. So this is a big shift among the adoption. More than 23 million jobs are expected to rely on immersive training by 2030. I'm not going to get too stuck in this slide in this particular moment. There can be more questions about it, but we are differentiating from competitors that we have a fully scalable platform that allows you to create your own trainings. It's learning focused, but our big edge is on the interaction side. More than anyone else, we are providing an automated solution for you to jump in and actually use your hands to learn. With that, we're also focusing only on hard skill type of work tasks. So we're not doing any soft skill training whatsoever. Others are better at doing that. We're focused on hard skill training. We have a team combining different experiences within the research community. My two co-founders have been awarded by IEEE, among others, more than 30 published papers in the field of interaction technology. My management team has experience from Spotify, Schneider. They have done previous exits themselves. We're an advisor board with several people coming from unicorn exits since before. We've been awarded by internationally by the X Prize Foundation, MIT, among others. We have a scalable product that we launched recently. We're expected to grow to more than $50 million by 2026, which translates to roughly 670 clients. So now raising $5 million. The main point now is that we have proven that the model is working. The product is in place. We have actually figured out a solid sales mechanics, and we just need to multiply that and do that on a bigger scale. So the aim with this funding is to grow to a $1 million ARR. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you so much, Jacob. As you mentioned, the market is increasing. You're looking to really scale at the moment. So why do you really believe that this is the time right now for a product such as this? Do you believe that big corporates are ready for this kind of disruption within their traditional training methods?
I mean, it's a tricky question, because obviously there's been a lot of expectation for this since a few years ago. We see that there's some elements that has pushed this adoption to greater extent. We think that this pandemic did actually accelerate the mindset related to distance-based work, be it training included. So this has really made a big difference we've seen. And this is not something that's driven demand not only by the big corporations, but also quite small players are now quickly looking into this type of solution. So we actually do see some commercial evidence that there's a completely different pull on the market compared to 4 or 5 years ago. Obviously, the hardware is making a huge difference. A few years ago, you did need to have remote sensors connected in your room, in a big room. You had much more expensive hardware pieces that often didn't work. You had to start it through the computer. Now you click on one button. We just post a headset and someone can start using it immediately. So there's several factors playing together why we think now is a good timing. But more than anything, we're looking at what the actual market is saying. And the market is telling us that now there's a demand.
Understood. And you touched upon a bit of your customers in terms of competition. So you touched upon the USP and how you differentiate. But what would you believe is kind of like the main reason that makes let's say glichi stand out in the market? Whether this may be the market you focus in or the kind of end product or use case. Do you have any kind of numbers to share on the retention or any feedback in terms of customers?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can talk about all this technology, how we differentiate that, and you can have nice slides on our corporate focus. But at the end of the day, what's important to the clients is that they can start using VR not through a big capex investment. They can actually start using it immediately. And it's high quality stuff. I mean, you can actually jump in and use your hands to perform these trainings. This is a big difference compared to other solutions where maybe you can get the 360 filmed environment, where you can select some predefined tasks. But this dynamic type of training that has been made available thanks to our platform. Now, obviously, you can't use it for exactly every use case you have in mind. You're not going to be able to plug it in for sixth graders in school. It is applicable for certain areas and certain types of tasks. But thanks to our platform, it's actually made possible to start using VR in an affordable way, where you actually can look at your business case as a client and see that, well, actually, I can actually measure in the assessment center that return on investment is positive, and I don't need to take any CapEx risk. So this is a huge difference. Now, in terms of retention data, we've seen very solid data. We see that among our clients, the typical user is going in and stepping in and doing training 3.5 times per week. The average session is about 20 minutes. So we see a very high retention rate. And I think this differentiates from a lot of early usage of VR, where we saw that a lot of people loved the first impression in VR, but they didn't really come back. They did it once or twice. We see a continuous usage week after week, month after month. So this is we're actually seeing that the users are using it. And I think that's really cool.
No, that's quite interesting. I can definitely see, the user experience in, using the glichi solution to be a lot more interactive, but also sticky in the long term, I guess, looking at the type of people and the industries you obviously target. But anyways. Oh, sorry, you were saying something, Jacob?
No, I just completely agree. And I think we've been focusing very much on where we see this actually providing value. Yeah. Early on, there was a lot of application to create something that looks cool and get a bunch of people in the management team, nod their heads and think it was amazing for a pilot, but it didn't really solve any problems. So here we're actually solving real problems. And I think that's a good timing.
No, of course. I think it's the right time to kind of double down and really focus on the use exactly, rather than the hype behind it.
Yeah.
No, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Jacob, for your time today, as well as, shining a bit of light on glichi as well as its applications. It's really nice to have you here once again, also from our pre-event. So thank you again, and hopefully you can, tune in some of the talks and be interactive online.
Yeah, will do. All right. Thank you very much.
Jacob, bye.
Bye-bye.
So for just before we go off break, we have our final company. We have Clang, which is also one of the Angel Hub portfolio companies that we recently invested in. We have Mundi, who is the CEO and co-founder of Clang. So Clang aims to stimulate the future of humanity with Seed, which is a massive multiplayer online role-playing game. So we're just waiting on Clang to join into the call. And while we wait, I just also wanted to remind everyone who's viewing, please interact with the startups who have their booths online as well. We do have an amazing lineup in the Scaleup track today as well as tomorrow, but we have a lot of startups who are also going to be exhibiting online, where you can go through their profiles, look at their videos, as well as reach out to them directly. So we just have Mundi joining into our call. Mundi, feel free to start sharing your screen, and I'll leave you the floor to explain a little bit more about what Clang is, as well as what Seed is.
All right, thanks. Yeah, so we only have 5 minutes, I believe. That's a lot shorter than I normally have to explain Seed. But yeah, my name is Mundi. I'm the CEO of Clang Games. We're a studio based in Berlin. We've been working on Seed for a long time. We started probably theorizing about it back in like 2007 or so, and then we kind of feel like we had the idea around 2010, and then started the company in 2013. Started writing code for Seed 2016. So yeah, it's been quite a long journey. But yeah, I want to tell you a bit about what Seed is and why we believe so much in it. Let's go here. Yeah, so Seed is kind of our attempt at bringing lots of players into the same world. So my two co-founders, Ivar and Otter, come from a game company called CCP, responsible for building EVE Online. And EVE Online did the unique thing, and still today almost completely unique, which was this element of bringing tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people into the same universe. So this is very different from what you'll see in normal massively multiplayer games like World of Warcraft or any other, really. They're sharded, it's called. So each region has thousands of shards. You'll have, your North American shards in the thousands, and each shard has about 10 to maybe 15,000 players in each shard. EVE, however, connects all of the players into a single kind of server cluster, as it's called. And the tech lead on that was actually one of the co-founders here at Clang, along with Ivar, who was one of the game designers there. They were almost for a decade each at CCP. So what we really wanted to do was, how could we make this, more approachable and broader, and bring this glorious, ecosystem that we saw in EVE to a much wider audience. And so the seed was really built around trying to solve all the problems that come with bringing, potentially hundreds, if not millions of people into the same world. So yeah, it's all about, how do we get those people to create these large scale communities and cities and environments for one another? It's almost goes without saying that a studio could never build the vast amount of content needed to supply such a vast number of people. So, we started off with basically a planet which the entire game takes place on. So every player that's going to play Seed will join into the same single planet, which of course needs to be incredibly vast, and we'll use procedural generation to stretch across the landscape. And then we want to see these very large scale player-driven, player-built cities on the planet. Here, this is just a random image I found online, but there's tons and tons of images of these kind of futuristic cities. I think there is a certain fantasy among us humans to imagine these, far out cities, far in the future, and we've seen them, whether it's in Star Wars or Blade Runner or countless other sci-fi films, or Fifth Element, or whatever. And then, of course, there's endless concept art of these types of cities online. However, we have never achieved building and functioning actual, like the real thing, in a virtual world or otherwise. And so we've looked at a lot of these kind of cities, maybe that have been built in Minecraft and other MMOs, and they tend to be completely empty. And that's kind of where we started to wrap our heads around with it. This is really where the core of the concept comes from. They're empty because players are not continuously online. So obviously, out of your waking hours, you may spend about 10% of your time online max in a game, and that really makes it hard to build a buzzing, thriving community, because people are, they need to own their house. And so let's say we have 100 players, each owning a single house, and then 90% of them are offline all the time. Now you have a ghost town. And Ghost Town does the opposite of what we want. We want a thriving, buzzing community. And so that's when that's kind of, like I said, we're the core of the idea. So we thought, what if we would have kind of these AI-driven characters, and in Seed, they're called seedlings, kind of running, like living in the city 24/7. So each player basically has a family of these characters that all have their different personalities, and they live in the city 24/7. And that's how kind of society is then built up. Players are each of them kind of furnishing their own flats in these huge metropolises, and then we start to imagine a city fully player built, with every single floor of every house completely furnished, handcrafted by the players, and then a functioning society layer on top of that. And now I see I'm out of time. I was going to go into more detail about how society is going to work, but now I have to open up for questions. So maybe somebody asks the questions to reveal the next slide.
No, perfect. Thank you, Mundi, for your quick pitch on Seed, as well as your overview on what exactly Clang's vision is. As you mentioned, you don't want to end up with some sort of ghost town. So I wanted to know, how do you plan to build a kind of large and faithful community of players that are going to be interacting with the Seed game?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So I'll just use my slides actually. Basically, what we're trying to do is really focus on how do players create content for one another and help each other find roles within this matrix of roles that all help the growth of a society. Starting with the family loop, each player basically plays a certain kind of Sims-like loop there, where they want to grow their family and make sure that their family members, seedlings, are really happy and productive, so that they can put them to work and essentially get payment in return that they can then further improve their lives and grow their family. But unlike in The Sims, you don't just go to work somewhere in the middle of, like, in some abstract, like, non-existent company. You're actually going to work for kind of the next stage in the loop there, which is for players that want to engage further, and they start building businesses to provide goods and services back to the families, and the families are providing labor in return. And so this is kind of the backbone of the kind of in societal kind of systems, how we weave players together through that economic layer. And of course, they have then a market hub where they can trade those goods back and forth. And finally, on top of all this, we then have a government layer that will basically be kind of setting the laws and setting taxes and trying to regulate and make sure that the communities thrive, and griefers are being kicked out and such. Instead of us being that government, we really want to hand that over to the players. So this, in a sense, is kind of like a country, and so we'll of course have multiple of these countries as we're doing this at a planet scale. Also, very short explanation of a complex concept, but hopefully
that is essentially an elevator pitch, isn't it? So, and the kind of diagram you showed of the government, the citizens, etc., in the whole planet, it's quite overarching. So, your vision with Clang being able to bring better life to humans by improving the relationships. What do you see kind of the future for Clang to be in terms of its integration to day-to-day lifestyle? Do you see users more and more kind of having Clang or this type of gaming concept to be part of their life? This is obviously probably a more futuristic question in terms of where we as humanity might even go as well, but just wanted to see your view on what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so, for sure. That, I mean, we try to make Seed in a way where you can actually play it without having to kind of disrupt your life. Most MMOs require multiple hours a day, long sessions, and that can be quite disruptive to your life. And we wanted to make a product that fits into the everyday life of a person that is not maybe calling themselves a gamer. Because it's running autonomously, you can actually tap in and out for a couple of seconds at a time throughout the day. And this allows you to get both the very short session, very easy to access, very easy to play, easy to fit into your life kind of game, like you may find in hyper casual on mobile, but that depth that you may miss is there as well. So it's incredibly deep experience on top of that. By wrapping in a kind of a Web3 element there to incentivize, further, of course, we hope to see this as a viable option for people to, make a living. Of course, I see that happening more as a wealth distribution thing where, richer countries are maybe transferring wealth over to poorer countries, much bigger topic than we can cover here. Furthermore, I see us really, experimenting with politics and governments and government forms and what effect, different regulations can have on the economy. And so these are all, fascinating studies that we are really excited to see. How do, tens of thousands of players self-regulate, and we're going to learn a lot from, we allow for full-blown corruption. We allow for violence and crime. It's not a utopia. That's something that, I want to emphasize, because we want both the sweet and the bitter of society, and we want to all learn from that. And we hope our players do as well. They learn from They learn how governments work, how taxes work, how politics work, how corruptions work, how the economy works. Things that, you know, are always for the average person, you know, including myself, even a bit of a misty black cloud that is hard to wrap my head around. The emergence of, you know, economies and societies is something that I think nobody on the planet has a full grasp of. So we hope to explore those concepts with Seed, and really hope that our players, you know, academics, journalists, whoever is interested, can benefit from that.
No, I definitely think, you know, the point of being able to experience the good and the bad and really immerse yourself within, you know, the world of Seed is quite interesting, and hopefully will be quite eye-catching to a lot of the viewers out there as well who want to potentially, you know, get into this kind of gaming experience, or not even, it's not, as you said, it's not really a gaming experience, right? It's a bit more than that. But anyways,
yeah, for sure.
so much, Mundi, for your time today and explaining a bit more about Seed. I believe this will end our first session for the day. So we will be taking a short 20-minute break before we move on to our next set of amazing scale-ups that will be presenting their pitches as well. Thank you, Mundi, once again. Hopefully you can tune in to the other pitches as well, and we'll see you online and in the metaverse as well.
Thank you as well.
Great,
Ciao,
thank
ciao.
you.
Mute. Hi, welcome back to the startup pitches. So for the next line of speakers, we've got 5 really cool startups to introduce to you. First up, we have David from Circular. So Circular is, as of yesterday, the latest campaign on the Angel Hub website. So we do encourage you to go and check it out. David, I'll let you introduce yourself now.
Sure. Thank you very much, W Hub and also Angel Hub. My name is David Friedrichs, and I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of Circular. Should I just dive straight into?
Yep, go ahead. Straight
Awesome.
in. 5 minutes.
So look, hello Hong Kong. It's an awesome moment for Circular, and it's going to be an awesome time for Hong Kong as well. So what's Circular? Investors call us Amazon 2.0 for the next generation innovator and consumer. Brands call us a zero-friction money-making machine. Shoppers define Circular as a guilt-free online experience oasis. Governments, in particular the UK and many more coming, are publicly endorsing and recommending Circular, the first of its kind. Our hypergrowth comes down to 3 things. Deep technology that makes life easier for us to use, extensive experience that connects the dots, a killer team, but it's all going to come down to zero friction. In less than 1 year, Circular has 252 top global brands on the platform, with thousands in the pipeline. Approximately 200,000 products live today, and we're literally growing by thousands of new products automatically enabled each and every day. And we function in 23 countries. So we've gone way beyond Amazon 2.0. We are consumption 2.0. So let me paint you a picture and put things into perspective. Facts: 71% of all brands on Circular, all of which are top global brands, are not on Amazon or our leading competitors. As of May, Circular generates more sales with greater efficiencies than any of the major Goliaths that you can possibly think of. Exceptional timing. 93% of Hong Kong millennials buy secondhand directly because of sustainability. And Circular is the world's largest resale platform in less than 1 year. 63% of Hong Kong Generation X's investors always consider sustainable factors when investing. By 2030, every brand on the globe will need to have sustainability embedded in its corporate values. By 2040, 50% of brands globally will be sustainable certified. Sustainably marked products sell 5.6 times faster, and resale apparel will sell 2 times faster than fast fashion by 2030. More importantly, 34% of shoppers on the world's largest platform suffer guilt and embarrassment every time they get a delivery. With Circular, that will never occur, not only because of carbon neutral shipping, but we go plastic shipping. To cause real change, to move the needle in a meaningful way, Circular is not disrupting. We've done that already. Instead, we're the wrecking ball to current conventional Goliath platforms. Seller benefits, more sales, zero friction. One integration that manages onboarding, inventory management, pricing, payments, fulfillment, everything. User benefits, buy and sell all top brands in one place, 100% guilt-free. Investor benefits, record-breaking ROIs, and to own a piece on the right side of history. If you were one of the lucky first investors in Amazon back in the 1990s, your $50,000 investment would likely be worth about $16 billion. You now have the opportunity to invest in Circular, but this time we're now in a digital era. We're capturing millennials who are spending with conviction. And more importantly, we are much further ahead than where they were within our time frame. By 2026, $1 billion in platform revenue. By 2030, exceeding $1 trillion in platform value. How are we going to do it? 8 steps. Currently, a multi-vendor marketplace platform, B2C, C2C. Number 2, SaaS, membership program and subscriptions, giving us predictable and tremendous revenue. That starts next year. Inventory management and supply chain management, called FBC 0. We control already today in the US, soon to launch in Hong Kong, and reaching 23 global hubs. Advertising and search, brands are desperate to spend extra with us to drive additional revenue. We're then launching B2B. The technology is already available, but we're going to extend it. Launch of services. 75% of global economies rely on services, everything from home, pets, kids, you name it. Those searches will occur within Circular's ecosystem. And number 8, there are thousands and thousands of ambiguous certifications centered around sustainability. We're going to create one meaningful one that adds value for brands and consumers. It's going to be Circ verified. Those products and every brand will want to be Circ verified. Why 8? Because we're proud to be operating in Hong Kong. We're proud to make Hong Kong a regional hub of center excellence. And 8 is similar in sound to making a fortune. So with Circular, you're going to be making it a tremendous fortune, but more importantly, 100% guilt-free. And like I said, you're going to be investing on the right side of history. So that is Circular. Circular is not Amazon 2.0. We are the next generation of consumption. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you, David. I think that was right on 5 minutes as well, which is awesome. And for those who are also tuning in tomorrow, David's going to be on a panel discussion for us called The Future of Impact Investing. So definitely check that out too. So just moving on to some questions from the audience. So you obviously mentioned before, you're in 23 countries now, but specific to Hong Kong, we're interested, what does Circular mean for Hong Kong?
A lot. I mean, Hong Kong is such an energetic, vibrant place. And it's going to be our centralized hub that connects everywhere from southeast part of Asia right through to China. Obviously, different parts of our growth program, but specifically Hong Kong is a demographic where we already have around 10 top brands growing organically. They're already performing exceptionally well. In fact, the brands from Hong Kong selling on Circular are outperforming any other platform. And we want to dominate that. We want to consolidate the currently very fragmented market in Hong Kong all in one place. So imagine the Green Commons, the Slowwoods, all of these businesses operating within Circular's tech-powered ecosystem. For a consumer, it means you can buy everything you want. Rather than having to go individually, you come to Circular. It's also a place to manage returns and so on. So we have huge plans. And it also coincides with Hong Kong's overall sustainable plans by 2030. To really scale up sustainability. So hopefully that shares our long-term and mid-term growth strategy for Hong Kong.
Okay. That was actually going to be my next question. If we think about taking a crystal ball, what does Circular look like in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years?
I won't ask you specifically, but imagine the amount of hours that the average person does in terms of consuming products and information online per day. So if the audience thinks about every moment that they spend online, whether it's researching stuff for themselves, for their pets, for their home, for their nutrition, whatever it is, it actually comes to, on average, 7.5 hours a day, at least for millennials. By 2030, Circular will be dominating those 7.5 hours for the majority of people. So that means products and services will be consumed, i.e. will be searched within Circular's ecosystem. And because every brand, every product, every review, every service provider has been verified by us at Circular, it becomes the new means of accessing information and products all in one place. But more importantly, it's all centered around delivering a positive outcome. And so by 2030, Circular will be the next generation of consumption, both products and services, universally, as well as being local. So imagine what you do on Google, what you do on Taobao, what you do on Amazon, whatever you do, you'll be able to do that with far greater trust and transparency and traceability on Circular. And the best thing is, being a startup conference, we derive revenue from each and every interaction that you interact with, as well as the service provider or the brand owner. So it's an incredible money-making machine, but more importantly, it's a machine that gives back at every turn.
Perfect. Thank you, David. It was really great to hear from
you.
Awesome. And again, for those tuning in tomorrow, do check out David's talk. And for any of our PIs who are tuning in, Circular is currently available as an investment opportunity to also take a look at that too. Thank you, David.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Okay, so for our next talk, we have Sanjay from Finbots AI. Sanjay, are you there? One moment. Okay, perfect. We've just got Sanjay moving in now. So just to quickly introduce them, Finbots AI is based in Singapore. They develop innovative AI-powered solutions for financial institutions. And most excitingly, back in April this year, they closed their Series A of 3 million by Accel. So Sanjay, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks very much, and delighted to be here.
Yep.
Am I ready to start?
Yes, feel free to start anytime. Feel free to share your screen. You've got 5 minutes.
Okay, let me just do that. Thank you so much. Yep. Okay, hope that's clear, yeah?
Yep, that's all good.
Perfect. So thank you so much, and good afternoon, good evening, everybody, depending on where you are. I'm Sanjay Opal, founder and CEO of Finbots AI. We are a Singapore-based B2B fintech. We were founded at the end of 2017, started developing our products in 2018, and since have gone live with our first commercial product. We are in the B2B financial services space. We've got collectively more than 200 years of banking in our team. Our head office is Singapore, and we have an office in Dubai that covers Middle East and Africa markets, and our development centers in Hyderabad and India. These are some of the people in my team, and you can see some of the background organizations. So we've got a great mix of people with banking, financial services technology experience, and have been done that around various parts of the world. As mentioned, we recently concluded a successful Series A round that was fully taken up by Accel. We announced this in end of April, and we are currently obviously in the kind of implementation phase, and we're looking for potentially a Series B in first quarter next year. And that's where our lines are set. So what is our business about? And one of the things that we've noticed is through my banking career, there was an enormous amount of financial exclusion, credit-worthy borrowers who were declined access to credit. Recent research done by IFC, McKinsey, etc., points to the fact that when you look at MSMEs in developing markets or individuals globally, you've got over a 10 trillion unmet demand today, which makes it the biggest financial services opportunity. And the reason why this happens is because the lending system's broken. And this has been acknowledged over the years and more recently in the last couple of years. Your scorecards are at best low to moderate accuracy, manually intensive processes. It's expensive to develop robust credit models and scorecards. And on an average, organizations take about 6 to 12 months to develop and deploy a scorecard. So what you have is enormous loss of revenue opportunity. You still have risky business being booked, but more importantly, a huge base of marginalized credit-worthy borrowers. And this is beginning to show in recent headlines, right? So, if you look at what's happening to the credit quality across markets as inflation digs in and interest rates are going up. You've also seen enormous amount of news about BNPL and other new lenders who had come into the market fairly aggressively, but are seeing their losses climb up very, very significantly. And you can only put it back to, the quality of modeling that would have been put in place. We're seeing this in Singapore also. And quite interestingly, while FICO was pretty much the father of what we know as credit scorecards today, this has been one area where you've got bipartisan agreement in the US, where they're looking at potentially scrapping FICO scores. And that's been in the news recently too. Our product is Z-Score. It's an AI-powered credit modeling and decisioning system. And the advantages it delivers are a few. Number one, higher accuracy models. We're seeing at least 15 to 30 points improvements in the accuracy of our models developed using our platform. Number two, rapid development. So you can go from raw data to a finished scorecard in the entire cycle completed within a day, or if you're doing iterations in a matter of probably 4 to 5 days and not 4 to 6 months that you typically take. And thirdly, our product is priced in such a way that it proves attractive to large regional and global banks, as it does to small lenders, neobanks, micro lenders, etc. And at the same time, the design is such that all these organizations are able to use our product without having to invest in new skills. And what we are beginning to see is enormous upside in terms of the quality of profits, where approval rates are going up, giving a revenue upside, but also the loss rates coming down. This is a case in point that we have. This is a consumer lending organization with focus on personal loans and credit cards. We brought it up because specifically it's focusing on low prime and subprime lending. They saw a remarkable improvement in their accuracy scores with about 25 to 20 points across products. Approval rates went up very, very immediately. And at the same time, they saw the loss rates coming down. So this is the environment that we see is going to make an enormous difference to how lending is done by financial institutions across the world. But at the same time, a great opportunity for these institutions to be able to serve the marginalized borrowers today. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay. So just moving to our first question, we're really interested to know. So obviously, you know, you've raised your Series A. It's obviously a really exciting milestone for you. But what still keeps you up at night?
I think what really keeps me up at night is the fact that
your screen anytime, by the way, if you wanted.
Oh, sorry. Okay, just do that. So I think in terms of business, what keeps me up at night is the fact that this is a transformational product. So initially, it was difficult for us to convince people that something like this is possible. And I say, look, we used to send money over a week to different parts of the world. You can do that instantaneously today. So it shouldn't be difficult to believe. And how we actually addressed it is we've got a large number of sandbox environments already ready. And what we're able to do is literally set one up for a client organization or a potential client and have them actually test drive on our platform, bring their own data and develop their models, play around with the platform, see how easy it is, test out the models, and they can finish the entire journey in 1 to 2 weeks. So that's actually really helped us. But I do realize that this is a pretty transformative solution that we've got. I think some of the partners who have brought us in, like PwC, etc., have recognized that. And Axel actually came in very positively when they were looked at our product and they realized this was different to anything they'd seen. And essentially came in and straight away said, we'll take the entire round. So didn't really leave us too many choices. But yes, we still realize that for the legacy, I've been in banking. Organizations are used to working in a certain way for decades, right? It is a bit different to shift some of those minds, but I think we are beginning to make a dent at that now.
Super exciting. And then what's next for you? I know you're looking to maybe raise more money, but where do you kind of see Finbots ideally in the next, say, 3 years? What would you love to achieve by then?
I think when we look out over a 3-year period, we've actually got another slide that lays out our one of the things that we are doing as we speak is we will have our multi-tenanted SaaS version ready by end of this year. We are already in discussions with leading cloud players to host our product in multiple markets, and then essentially take something that's traditionally enormously complex on a plug and play capability, which means organizations can sign into a freemium account, test drive with our product, and subscribe it online and integrate very easily with APIs that are already ready for multiple platforms and data environments. So that's what we're working on. We're also going to be looking at expanding the product capability as we progress, but that's going to be more late, probably about a year from today, and then 24, 25. But right now, our focus is on credit because we just see an enormous market. I mean, you've got 200,000 lenders today globally, and not more than 5% have any kind of sophistication of credit modeling today. So the market is enormous, and which is where what we're looking to do is take this product, but make sure we're able to cover multiple markets. And we've tested it out, so we're ready for that.
Wow, we're looking forward to hearing more though. So we'll definitely keep an eye out on you and the rest of the team. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Thanks, appreciate it.
So next up, we have a startup from Australia called Ocean Floor Music. You actually might remember them. They pitched back in May, so we're really excited to have them join again. So Ocean Floor Music is a platform for musicians, artists, and the rest of the industry to be able to produce and fund projects. And they also have an NFT component to their marketplace. So I'll let Clint and Matt tell you more. Just move them into the main stage. One moment. Just when we're waiting for Ocean Floor Music, I would like to remind everyone that we actually have 3 stages here at SIS this year. So we've got the main stage, the startup pitches, which you're listening to now. And as of tomorrow, we'll also have a venture stage. So definitely tune in for some more talks. Perfect. And I think we have Clint and Matt now. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you? How are you? Really excited to have you join us again.
Very, very excited to be here. Just confirm you can see our screen okay there.
Yes, we can. So whenever you're ready, feel free to start. The pitch will be 5 minutes. So
fantastic. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Clint Arthur, and this is
Matt Bray.
We're here on behalf of Ocean Floor Music. We're so grateful to be here today. We're here to connect and share with you how we're connecting the music industry into Web3. We are extremely excited at the future growth of the music industry. By 2030, it'll be a $142 billion industry. However, artists currently only earn 13%, which is time for change. We're super excited about the future economy growth in NFTs, as we've seen the success in 2021 of $25 billion in this space, and its comparative nature to the streaming and royalty shares that artists get at the moment. With takes an artist 1 million streams to get $4,000 in revenue. It's a great opportunity for artists in this space in NFTs. Crowdfunding continues to be a successful industry. The second highest converting vertical in there is the music industry. And the e-learning ecosystem also has a strong trajectory, the highest revenue growth of $1.3 trillion by 2028. And why we're all here is the creator economy, the strongest percentage growth out of all of the economies, but most importantly, supporting artists and then putting value on the creation process. At Ocean Floor Music, we have a variety of solutions. One is a borderless music technology that connects artists around the world. This is a world first, and I'll let Matt allude to that a little bit later. Our second vertical is our music marketplace, which is a compromisation of an NFT marketplace, but also a music industry marketplace, allowing studios, producers, videographers, music products and services to connect into our marketplace. And then most importantly, the thing that will change the dial with the 13% that artists earn in revenue is the crowdfunding model. Think of Patreon, Kickstarter, Indiegogo in DeFi blockchain focused on music. We'll continue to educate. We have an education platform that sits under all of these pillars to make sure that the onboarding experience is important and easy for artists.
Okay, I'll talk to borderless music, which is, we've got here the future of remote music collaboration. So this is using a process called telemidi, which is the focus of my PhD research. And what you see there is an example of a performance, myself in Perth and a collaborator in London, performing live, and we're exchanging only MIDI data, which is music performance information. So Ocean Floor Music's borderless music, it's enabling musicians to collaborate and create music in real time from remote locations. And musicians, it's what we do best. We create music. The internet, there's been many endeavors to create music, but latency is a big problem. And we've got a situation here where we can overcome that and get the creative energies flowing. We've got a couple of shots here of the metaverse that we've got at Ocean Floor, which facilitates performance venues, rehearsal rooms, and allowing people to get together to songwrite, to rehearse, purchase instruments with links to the real world retail stores. Yeah, so it's a great platform for that endeavor.
Matt's in suit today, fading in and out in the metaverse here, as you would notice. Thanks, Matty. Beautiful. Our revenue model is it's a fee clipping protocol. So with the power of borderless music, we are going to scale across the world. We're going to connect musicians globally from their laptop. So plug and play, custom tiered pricing model, which makes sense. For our music marketplace and NFT marketplace and our crowdfunding model, it is a 2% clip on total transactions. Pretty straightforward there. Our roadmap, we have a borderless music soft launch at an event here in Western Australia in next month, moving into all of the roadmap icons that you can see here, a revenue driving activity that are ready to go live Q4 in 22 and a variety of activities across 2023. We're super excited. Our total supply, our tokenomics, I guess, we have a 50 million token supply. Our market value at 15 mil. We've closed 2 million Australian dollars or 1.5 mil US across our pre-seed and seed round already. We are seeking 1.5 mil in this to close at our seed round, with major investment coming from VCs, and record labels are just absolutely blown away with the technology that we're bringing to the table. Our team is made up of my business partner, Sam Kutry, who's a 16-year music veteran, and myself have run multi-national companies, large P&Ls. Danny Wilson from the game Alluvium, who we all might know of, peaked at 19 billion fully diluted value last year in November. And Carl Cox, maybe the biggest DJ in the world, who will be announcing something particular of our relationship with Carl Cox on the 17th September at Australian CryptoCon. Tune in, get ready for something big with Carl. Here we go. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Would love to speak to you at a later date. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. That was bang on 5 minutes. I don't know if I agree that Carl Cox is the greatest DJ on the planet, but I'll leave that up to the audience. So just moving on to the Q&A. So you mentioned in your pitch that latency is a problem, but how does your technology manage latency, particularly when performing live in real time?
Absolutely, yeah. So it's a multitude of approaches. The primary one is that we're using MIDI data, which is 1982 technology, tiny data packets. And if you're using audio or video, they're continuous streams that when they're disrupted, it's very noticeable. Whereas with MIDI, that's reduced, and there's a whole suite of other approaches involved.
Perfect. Okay. And then secondly, I kind of want to understand, how does your music, how does the music performance generate the virtual environment, and exactly how many people can be in the same performance space all at once?
Okay. Answer this one?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So it's entirely scalable. With the first part of the question was how many performers, was it?
How does the music performance generate the virtual environment?
Okay, so again, they're in the metaverse, so it's in a real 3D environment. When you're exchanging MIDI data, it can be used for music, but it can also be harnessed for other visual asset development as well. So they can change events in the metaverse by nature of playing the music.
Okay.
It's quite immersive. And the second was how many? It's entirely scalable. So it's digital. You could have 1 million stages, you could have 1 million rehearsal rooms.
And the beauty is it's built from, playing directly from your laptop. No mega infrastructure is needed. It's directly tested and proven across plug in and play.
Wow, that's really cool, guys. Really looking forward to hopefully testing it in the future. So thank you again for being part of our pitch, and we really love to have you back at SAS.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you. Okay, great. So for our next startup, all the way from Belgium, we have Settlement. So we've got Salvatore Provenzano, really sorry if I've pronounced your name incorrectly, here joining us. So Salvatore, feel free to share your screen and tell us more about your low-code platform that improves the experience for blockchain professionals.
Great. Hi, everyone. Hope you can see my screen and hear me well. So I'm going to introduce you to Settlements. My name is Salvatore. I'm managing the commercial operation of Settlements. And I'm here to introduce you to the #1 low-code blockchain platform with the aim of accelerating blockchain projects and blockchain application to go to production. So quick reminder of, what blockchain is and how it can help. So blockchain is basically a decentralized shared ledger or digital database that helps a lot for, well, I would say collaboration, transparency, security, and immutability. Well, so it's a technology that is recognized by a lot of industry leaders as kind of a new wave of the internet, also called Web3. This being said, today it's still quite challenging to develop and deploy a blockchain application. So this is the reality check. Today, only 14% of projects actually go to production. This is due to several reasons. First one being skill scarcity. It's difficult to find blockchain developers or to get your team up to speed in developing blockchain application. The second thing for corporates in general is the integration with existing system. So the integration failure can be also challenging when it comes to corporate world. And the third thing is scalability, meaning that you might have a proof of concept that is done, but once you need to go to production or deploy to other geography, it can be quite challenging. So Settlement is here to bring another approach and bring a low-code, high-performance blockchain platform that allows you in a couple of clicks to deploy and develop a blockchain application. So we like to describe ourselves like the WordPress of blockchain, meaning that, as I said, in a couple of clicks, you can establish infrastructure, deploy your smart contract. We do have a lot of smart contract templates for different use cases available. You can deploy middleware, deploy API, deploy private keys, etc., etc. So it really works like WordPress, where you drag and drop building blocks, but for blockchain. So what is the value proposition of settlements? Well, it makes blockchain easy, well, at least easier, faster, meaning that you quickly go to production, customizable, fully integrated with an integration studio with 3,500 ready-to-use APIs that are available. Scalable, we also have a tool that helps you to scale and to deploy faster different nodes in different geography, and to keep track and the health of your blockchain application and how your node is running. So today, well, people love us for two reasons. So business leader, they love us because we speed up the go-to-market and they can get a good return on investments. And IT leaders because, well, we help developers to become blockchain developer and we shorten the innovation cycle. The type of corporate we tackle, as you can see, we do have already a lot of big corporation as customer, but mainly 4 big use cases are supply chain manufacturing for tracking and tracing, all the financial services for asset tokenization, the telco and energy for, well, marketplace of data and different kind of data exchange. Also, of course, all kind of, well, big words, NFTs, cryptocurrency that we can also tackle with our platform. So just to mention them, we have Coca-Cola as a customer that has done a NFT project with us. And we do also all kind of public projects for voting system, data exchange. We are part of EPSI, so European Blockchain System Innovation, for managing exchanges between countries and data exchange. So we have a pay-per-use model. So we are a tool where you pay for with a license. The more you use, the more you pay, with a clear flow of steps to follow to go to market as quick as possible. Today, we are one of the most complete platform on the market with a full stack and full features that are available from backend to front end to blockchain application building. As you can see, we cover all the areas that you need to be able to develop and deploy a blockchain application. The team is already more or less 70 people present in, well, globally with offices in Singapore, Belgium, India, opening in Japan, opening in US today. We are well funded, so we are not anymore in the startup stage, we are more in the scale up with 15 million locked in Series A. So, and this money will be used for global expansion and continuous improvement of the products. Well, it's difficult to explain everything in a couple of minutes, so I invite you to contact me for next steps, where we can, of course, see, well, a demonstration of the platform, share with you the couple of points for the investment deck, show you the use case deep dive that we have done in the past, and so all kind of references that I mentioned, but also share with you mini books on sustainability, supply chain track and trace, any kind of key topics that you find interesting for you that we could deep dive together. I hope I was not too long. I tried to do my best.
It was such a good pitch. I didn't want to cut you off. You were only very slightly over, but thank you. Feel free to stop your screen share as well.
Sure.
So from the first question I have from you, you mentioned in your pitch a couple of the different use cases that Settlement covers. Which one are you most excited about? And maybe if we think more about the future, what areas are you looking to expand into for alternate use cases?
It's difficult to answer to the one I'm most excited about because you have some that are, from a business perspective, really impactful, that have a great return on investment. But you have others, such as we have created a voting system for Indonesia that's, I would say, allowed Indonesia to avoid riots, to avoid conflicts between people. So from a human perspective, this is the most exciting one, I would say. But just to mention some from a business perspective, tracking and tracing goods for AB InBev or for Carrefour as a supermarkets allows to give full transparency to customer for the big trends are local, bio, making sure that it's product that are respectful of the environment. So I believe blockchain and our platform really helps to tackle those key issues for our society in general.
Okay, great. And then if you had to maybe summarize it in one sentence, what is the key pain point that Settlement is solving?
Building a blockchain application can take months or years even, with a low return on investment because you don't really know how to do it and what are the steps that you need to follow. So I would say that Settlement platform helps you to take the first step, to get a better return on investments and to have blockchain that everyone wants to do and everyone knows that it's the next generation of technology, impact your business. Well, here it really impacts it in a concrete way after a couple of weeks or a couple of months.
Perfect. Okay, well, there we have it. Settlement, thank you so much for joining us today. And for anyone who wants to know more, you are able to log into the SIS website where you can view the virtual booths and interact with all of the 60 startups or over 60 startups we have today. So thank you again for your time.
Thank you very much. And hello, Hong Kong. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So for our next startup, we actually have a Hong Kong-based startup. We have Mark from DigiNex. You might have caught him earlier at his panel discussion on the main stage on ESG measurement and reporting. So Mark, very happy to have you join us. We'll just move you in now. So just to tell you quickly about DigiNex. So DigiNex is a Hong Kong-based platform and they actually leverage blockchain technology in order to help Hong Kong companies of all, well, actually global companies of all sizes with their ESG reporting requirements. Hello, Mark, can you hear me?
Hello, I can.
Hello, welcome.
Can you hear?
Yes,
can you hear me?
Okay. We're really happy to have you here. Hopefully your main stage discussion went well earlier also.
I hope so. I got a client lead out of it, so that's positive.
Very nice. Okay, well, I'm going to leave the floor to you for your 5-minute pitch and then we'll follow with Q&A. So please go ahead.
So I can share screen now?
Yes, just
okay.
share.
Let me know when to start.
Yep, go ahead. That's all good. We can see your screen.
Oh, so hello, everybody. My name is Mark Blick. I'm CEO at DigiNex. DigiNex is a Hong Kong born and bred company founded in 2020. We've got a team of 80 people around the world now, and our products are live in over 25 countries. We started with working with some of the most conservative and risk-averse organizations that you can see here as our sort of own badge of credibility. But now we've really pivoted to how do we help small and mid-cap enterprises with their ESG and climate-related disclosures. That's because, as you guys know, ESG is the new corporate mandate. Reporting requirements are increasing from regulators, lenders, and shareholders, both on public and private companies. We work with a number of commercial banks who say that within 5 to 7 years, ESG and climate-related disclosures will be compulsory and mandatory for any company that wants a bank or get money from commercial banks. When those small and mid-cap enterprises go in the market, they find typically the solutions out there are designed for larger enterprises who have been doing this for a while. Or at the other end of the scale, there's a whole bunch of low-cost options that lack data assurance and automation. What companies are looking for are guidance, confidence to ensure their ESG reporting is comprehensive. As I mentioned, most of the solutions out there are cumbersome, expensive, drawn out. We know this because we've onboarded ourselves to 43 different companies in this space offering ESG services. We know they take months to complete. Average steps just to start the process, there's 15, 20 steps, and the cost is prohibitive. It's 50 to 150K at traditional consulting, and even tech-enabled rather than technology companies, but tech-enabled companies are still $30,000 to $50,000. And if you look at the reasons why small and mid-cap enterprises don't want to do ESG reporting, it's really three. One is too expensive. Two, they don't have the skill sets in-house. And three, that first step to get going is just too much a hurdle. It's too much of a hassle. And so they think, you know what, I'll do it next year. At DigiNext, we are building, or I should say we've built an end-to-end solution for the future of ESG reporting. And for us, it was really important that we started as SaaS from the start. We took best-in-class practices from B2B SaaS products in other markets. So any of you on this call who have had the misfortune of doing tax reporting in the US, I'll say TurboTax for ESG, and you guys should get that analogy immediately. Wix.com is another one I can use. So how do we take machine learning to drive efficiency through our recommendation engines, security of blockchain for audit trail and transparency, and produce a product that is 6 times faster? So we know from our data that timeline from first inquiry to report is not months, it's days. It's under a month, it's around 26 days. It's 95% cheaper. So we are $99 per user per month. You can start with a single user. I recommend and suggest everybody on this call go to our website, and you can all access a 7-day free trial, and you can use the platform to your heart's content. And that really, again, differentiates us from anybody else in this marketplace. And this, last of all, what's really important here, no experience required. You do not need an in-house team of sustainability consultants to complete your ESG report through our platform. You can start the process of, holy heck, what is ESG? How do I do it? And what color does it come in? Go all the way through materiality assessment, stakeholder engagement, report building, approval, and generation without the need. So we've completely disintermediated need for sustainability consultants, although you can include them if you wish, but without the need to have external people come in and then produce a report that's HKX aligned or SASB aligned or TCFD aligned that you can present to your bankers, to your investors, to your stakeholders, to consumers or employees, and know that it matches up to global reporting standards. We have a specific focus on upper small cap to mid cap corporates. So think companies who are in early stage reporting between 1 to 4 years. So either it's, I don't know what ESG is, I'm really starting from afresh, or it can be somebody who's 2 or 3 years into their reporting process that's kind of got the gist of it, that's doing everything on Excel and Outlook. Actually, I gave a presentation just downstairs on ESG reporting, and a company came up to me that was actually in that space. We've been doing it for 2 or 3 years. We want to drive efficiencies. We want to streamline the cost, and how do you help us do that? Our clients range from sub $10 million to $500 million a year. We're geography agnostic, we're industry agnostic. We cover 77 different industries, and our ideal user base is 3 to 6 users per company. So think CFO, someone from the legal department, someone from the HR department, perhaps a sustainability manager, and if they're public, somebody from the investor relations team. And our clients are loving the results. We've acquired 150 clients over 25 countries, and our solution has enabled significant customer uplift. So just in efficiency, we have an average employee saved 80%. That's just time spent gathering information, understanding what you want to report on. 35% of our customers issue their first report within 30 days. So I said average time to completion is 26 days. And we're having thousands of remote audits every single month. I should also add, particularly, we have 2 routes to market. So our first one is through our own organic SEO and SEM digital marketing. We convert around 5 to 6% of all leads that we generate. That's my alarm going off. And then also we have global channel partners. So Fitch Ratings invested in us last year. They will now be using our software to onboard 6,000 entities and $43 trillion worth of debt instruments, who will go through our software on their way towards a sustainable ESG rating from Fitch, which will then be tied explicitly to their credit ratings. And we have global relationships with 2 commercial banks who are using our software to collect ESG and climate-related data from all of their small and mid-cap enterprises. I went a little bit over 5 minutes, but I'm happy to turn over for questions.
Perfect. Thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you. You can feel free to stop sharing your screen now as well.
Okay.
Great. So my first question for you is, Obviously, blockchain plays a part in how the Diginex software works. Can you tell us more about how SMEs can validate the type of data that's being entered into the Diginex platform?
Oh, happy to. So I think it all starts with what is the output that the SME is looking to obtain. Year one, day one, what we've observed is honestly they're happy understanding what ESG is, maybe defining a couple of material topics, producing a report on and putting it on their website, maybe sharing it with a couple of board members and investors. So the requirement there for verification and assurance is light. But as they go into year two, year three, year four, they begin to understand that the data they're collecting around ESG and climate starts to become an asset that they can use not just for the stick, which is regulatory reporting requirements, but also for a carrot, which is access to cheaper sources of finance through sustainability-linked loans and green finance. Green finance products. As you get to that point, the requirement for assurance and data verification is obviously much larger. So in year one, day one, self-guided data entry is absolutely fine, and we can help companies through that. But as you go into more substantive requirements around data disclosure, we allow companies to engage then in more rigorous data verification. So simple stuff is evidentiary document upload, multi-party verification. We also have a relationship with the world's largest assurance company called SGS, which assures data through our platform. But something that runs throughout our product, which our clients love, and folks like Fitch Ratings love, and insurance companies love, is every step of the way, every action you take during the creation of the report, we event log, wrap that in an audit file, and store that on a blockchain. So if I, as a company, send you, Angel Hub, my ESG report, and you guys say, well, this is great, but how do I know this wasn't put together by Bob the intern in the 6 hours before I received it? You can demonstrate complete transparency in how that report was created. That then increases the robustness and the trust in the product that you're using in order to get access to preferential capital or raise more money or get listed, and makes the assurance and audit process a lot shorter and therefore more cost effective. 75% of customers who are on our platform choose to enable that blockchain feature.
Yeah, it's great. It's really great that there's that kind of transparency around there as well, and also obviously helps with the audit trail, which is super exciting. But then I guess more broadly, obviously a lot of these climate related disclosures, it's not mandatory to make them at the moment. So where's the incentive, or what's the impetus for private companies to complete their ESG related disclosures at this time?
It's multiple. I mentioned the commercial banking, so that will be real within 5 to 7 years, whether you're public or private. Leading commercial, or most global commercial banks will require ESG and climate reporting, just as normal as it would be for KYC and AML, both at an entity level and also at a transaction level. And banks are building up to that, and we're helping them do that. Beyond that, you have different pressures. So you look at consumer pressure, you look at employee pressure, you look at board pressure, you look at investor pressure. So if I'm a mid-sized company, let's say I'm a $100 million a year cement company, I'm private, and I'm looking to raise some debt financing or some equity financing. Almost certainly, given the industry that I'm in, those investors will start asking me questions around aspects of my ESG governance because of the industry that I'm in. So I'd say it's going to lean heavily towards those industries that have more scrutiny. So you're looking at manufacturing, natural resources, building materials, those industries that folks are going to be asking more questions around. Do we have lots of clients at white collar law firms? No, not really. They're not under so much pressure as a cement manufacturer. The last thing I will mention is founder legacy. And this is really important. So you have CEOs and founders of companies that have maybe done generation one, they've built a sustainable, profitable company. And now they're looking forward as to how do I create a differentiating factor for my company, and understanding that ESG is part of that, not only for customer acquisition, but also investor acquisition and brand. And being able to differentiate their companies against others in their field. Previously, it would just be on product and price, but now it's also around ESG. I am a coal company, or I'm a natural gas company. How can I demonstrate that what I do is in alignment with some of the world's largest or leading regulatory reporting standards?
Okay, thank you, Mark. That's really insightful, particularly the point around founder legacy. It's always kind of nice to think, into the future, what you want to be remembered for.
Yeah, so. Exactly that. And you put it better than I could.
Well, okay. Thank you so much, Mark, for joining us today, and obviously for participating on the main stage panel earlier. We're going to take a quick break for the next 5 minutes before the rest of the startup pitches. So stay tuned for more. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Ah. Is it better now? Can you hear me fine? Ah, great. Hello? Hello, everyone. Nice to be back with you live on the Scaleup stage. We have a batch of super interesting and exciting companies with us today to present. First of all, we'll start with Murray, who is joining us today. Hello, Murray. Very nice.
Hi, Nick. Thanks.
You are the CEO and founder of Whiskey Genius, and you work with global distilleries and brands to create a secure and inclusive global community for farm-to-fork whiskey trading. And you use some new technologies with that, NFTs and blockchain. So we are very curious to know more about you. I will leave you the floor. You can share your screen and present Whiskey Genius to us.
Excellent. Thanks, Nicholas. Thanks for having me and giving me the opportunity as well. I'm excited to talk about Whiskey Genius. I'm conscious of time, so I'll skip straight into share screen. I'm trying to condense a 30-minute pitch into 5, so bear with me. Can you see the screen currently with Whiskey Genius?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you. So Whiskey Genius was created to create an all-inclusive marketplace and platform that addresses the pain points of basically trading whiskey. What we're basically doing, sorry, 1 second. I'll skip it. Imagine the LinkedIn, the Amazon, eBay, Instagram, all in one place to be able to build the world's biggest global whiskey community. The senior team I'll introduce briefly. It's made up of myself, ex-investment banker, 20 years experience in banking, alternative investment, and whiskey investment. Our CTO, who's definitely the jewel in the crown, is the ex-head of cryptography at Microsoft. He also invented the biometric signature and, for example, built the wealth management systems for HSBC. Our COO, who is also the CEO of IMS, Asia's leading digital transformation agency, based in Hong Kong as well, actually. And Will Corkin, who is our DeFi expert, who has 2 companies, Mantra DAO, which is a launch pad, which most people in the space will know, alongside Soma Finance, which basically is the first SEC and FINRA registered token trading platform as securities. So we've got a very sort of battle-stead ready team to deliver across multiple competencies. For those that don't know, whiskey is actually an asset class. Knight Frank has tipped it as the best performing asset class in the world, obviously outside of crypto, over the last 10 years. For example, wine, 137% in the last 10 years. If you look at whiskey as an asset class, nearly 4.5% increase in value. Not that people may not know, but whiskey actually only matures and gets more complex in the cask itself. So when you're looking at whiskey, you need to look at not only investment into bottles, but investment into casks as well. Now, the platform addresses inefficiencies and difficult to navigate parts of the market for the whiskey industry. That's both from the brand side and investor consumers. There's obviously high distribution costs for whiskey companies. For example, Macallan, one of the biggest brands out there, will give away a big percentage through to wholesalers, distributors, before it ends up going out onto the shelves. They have no ability to profit from the secondary market, whereas if you look at something that has a royalty attached or a digital representation, you can then access the data on the secondary market. The whiskey could change hands multiple times, and therefore you get to harvest that data, control it. And also it deals with the fact that there's multiple fakes in the market. For example, something like 40% of Macallan 12s in China are deemed as fake or considered not to come from a decent source. And then it's also about trying to create this extra customer connection where brands such as LVMH, spending hundreds of millions to be able to, attach more of an experience for consumers around. And this is what we're trying to create through this site. It's an all-inclusive platform, as I mentioned, that includes whiskey investors, NFT collectors. Brands and distilleries can promote using their own microsite through the platform directly to the consumer base and retail that has a new access to global whiskies as well. So, for example, if you wish to buy whiskey in the past, you have to go through a specialist, and there's bad actors in the industry. Can't guarantee that anything you're buying is actually genuine as well. What we sort of aim to kind of solve here as well is, just for the brand side of things, improve cash flow. You can actually pre-sell whiskey that's already in cask, whether that's a right to bottle of what's coming out the other end, or whether that is simply, selling whiskey early when it hasn't even left the warehouse or bottling plant, for example. We're looking at, creating more education for the site to give people the ability and tools to be able to trade whiskey as an asset class, and also increased recurring revenue goes back to the brands, as well as, simplified market entry using smart contracts to be able to buy and sell whiskey via digital representation. If you wish to then receive the whiskey, you purely just burn the NFT and then receive the whiskey directly. We are also releasing a token called WSKY that will launch and be listed onto decentralized exchanges just after the platform launch, which is in a couple of months. We have the beta version that is currently underway, which launches in about a week's time. This will include various DeFi aspects, also dividend style yield through staking on the platform in real life experiences. And then we're actually doing the first ever metaverse tasting with an industry expert, where we'll send out the sample packs directly and people can enter into our self-built metaverse, put on the mask and actually taste and go for a tasting session with an expert in the metaverse. So that's very cool. We're looking forward to that. Basically, we're just digitizing the supply chain. At the moment, it's very arduous, very paper heavy. Essentially, we are going directly into warehouses and creating a digital counterpart via blockchain for either a cask, a bottle, or right to bottle, or in some cases, a fractionized element. So you may have a very expensive £100,000 bottle of whiskey. We could break that into multiple fractions to give joint and shared ownership and shared profit when it's sold in the future. This can then be bought, sold, and traded onto our platform without the fear of having to go through the arduous process of importing it into the country where you live, with large tax issues. Hong Kong, for example, is 100% import tax. India, 150% import tax. So you can buy, sell, and trade, guaranteeing that you're going to receive eventually the physical real article. And then later on, you can actually then either collect it, have it at home sitting on your mantelpiece, or display it in our own metaverse as well. So you can have two options there. The actual marketplace is more of an extension of brands. Each brand has its own microsite. You can then directly mint NFTs that represent bottles or casks on the website itself. And then they can share their own brand stories, videos, talk about the latest release. People can, choose to follow different distilleries, go onto wait lists for the next stock that comes in order to build this marketplace. We've already had, some great pickup from multiple industry leaders, such as, Jim Murray. We've got Sarah Burgess, ex-lead distiller of Macallan, who's interested in working us, help promoting the platform. We've got multiple experiences and brands. We're also wrapping experiences on top of these. So let's say we sell 250 bottles that represent 250 NFTs. The top 25 may come with an experience where you can go and stay a night in the hotel, go and visit the distillery, do maybe a blending experience as well, and get an extra special bottle, maybe with a unique label, for example. So, we're trying to create the extra customer connection, not just selling bottles of whiskey. As I've kind of touched on earlier, there's multiple ways for... Yeah, hello.
Sorry, I'll have to interrupt you because we're going to run out of time, and I've got some questions from the crowd. So it's great to get to the Q&A session as well. You mentioned indeed that you would probably attach some perks to the NFTs, right? That's the strategy, and you can imagine a lot of perks coming in.
Well, basically what we're looking to give, we're actually doing a Founders Genesis NFT raffle beforehand. As you can see, there's what we're going to be doing for that is giving people the utility and extra perks where there'll be a raffle. You could win up to, there's 250 Macallan 30 bottles per 5,000 NFTs that are coming out. And we'll give people the first access to the website. And that's for, early bird investors via our NFTs. We're also doing, as an early bird session, for example, we're doing the tokenomics around our raise. Sorry, 1 second, you've kind of put me off there. We've lost the tokenomics, and my apologies, and I appreciate we're under time.
No worries. And one other question from the crowd before we close. You were talking of very expensive bottles. Of course, I can imagine that casks can be even greater value. What's the span of kind of whiskey you are willing to put on the platform? Is it really only on top brands and top bottles, very expensive ones, or do you think you want to go on the larger market as well?
It's an all-inclusive platform. So tier 2 distilleries, smaller brands are more than welcome to come and, share in the overall platform experience alongside having the super high-end value stuff. But the cool part about it is we'll be fractionalizing those bottles as well. So even if, you could actually own a share of a £100,000 bottle. So it creates more of an all-inclusive marketplace for everyone.
Okay. And a question also maybe from non-experts, but do you think those collectors at some point would like to drink the whiskey?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. You can actually take the whiskey whenever you want. You can actually, if the whiskey exists in bottle format, you can burn the NFT and then receive the bottle to drink it. And it's, as I said, it's for everyone that's looking to invest, collect and drink as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, Murray, for sharing with us your project. We wish you the best, of course. Everyone who's interested in whiskey, you know where to go next, and meet Murray and the platform right after that speech. I think it's great. Thank you, Murray.
Thank you very much. Just reach out on the that's fine. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Bye-bye. All right, so next we have a company coming to us, Equal Justice, and Kay is with us today to present. Interesting company on a mission. They want to educate, inform, and support us alongside legal subject. It can be thought as a little bit an expert sort of space, but let's listen to Kay and see what they want to do for us guys alongside those lines. Kay, I'm happy.
Thank you very much.
I will leave you the floor. You can share some screens with us and let us know more about your company.
Thank you. I'm just going to share my screen. Thank you so much for the introduction, Nicholas. I have now, oh gosh, I've lost my window. 1 second, please.
Yep.
I think here. I can't see this. I've got this black thing appearing on my screen.
We can see your screen, so yeah.
Okay, here we are. Okay, can you see that now?
Yep, absolutely. You can go.
Wonderful. So I'm going to set my stopwatch so that I know how I'm doing time-wise, and we'll start. So good afternoon and good evening to everybody. Thank you for giving us this platform to tell you a little bit about our work and also to invite you to move some digital innovation dollars towards the philanthropy space. I am pitching today for digital philanthropy and digital fixes to social problems that we are dealing with in Hong Kong. I am unfortunately a poor substitute for our digital innovation lead, Victoria Street, and she is unfortunately traveling. She's at the airport as we speak and about to board a plane. She has been developing 2 platforms so far, the first of which was award-winning. We got an award for it in June this year. Equal Justice itself is just turning 2, and we help people through legal support, through education and digital innovation. So let me tell you a little bit about us. Our mission is to reduce hardship through digitally innovative education, advice and support. We have charitable status in Hong Kong. The reason we need to focus on the poor sector, people suffering from hardship, is that Hong Kong, despite the glittering image behind me, does have 1 in 5 people living in poverty, and they are supported by the state, of course, but also 16,000 charities and counting. There are very many of them. And those charities have utterly brilliant people working in them, but they have almost no digital or technology support or expertise. And that's something we really want to change. We don't see why this critical sector is being left behind. So what we're looking for today is an investment of 3.25 Hong Kong million, which is about 415 US thousand investment over the next 2 years to scale up our digital impact in Hong Kong, focusing on alleviating poverty, reducing hardship, and the investor or investors will know that their dollars are being invested with a very significant social and environmental return on investment. And frankly, just knowing that you're enabling systemic change for good. All the other good things that come with doing that naturally apply. We're looking at the S in ESG, the knock-on impact in the E in ESG, some if not all of the sustainable development goals. This is good work with great people. It's just very hard to raise dollars in this space. So we're thankful for this opportunity today. So what does this look like? We're looking to scale up what we've already delivered, and I'll explain that in a minute. We'll be looking at 3 products. One is technology solutions for community impact organizations. That can be social enterprises, charities, foundations. I'm just using the phrase community impact organizations, and that will enhance their external impact, their direct services for clients. And then also, secondly, products that help them re-engineer how they work internally, reduce the paper, get rid of the paper, work effectively, have interconnected systems that talk to each other to alleviate the administrative burden and to ensure that donor dollars go to where they're needed most. Product 3 is developing more public legal information portals. We've launched one, which won an award this year. We're launching another, and that's coming out in Q1 next year. The investment we're looking for is primarily for people, with $500,000 towards workspace and $750,000 towards technology platforms, coding, and so on. So that's the headline of what we're looking for today. And now I wanted to tell you about what we've achieved so far. So what I'm super proud of with the team is that actually, with almost nobody in the team doing this, apart from Victoria, who should be here instead of me, we've done 3 cool things already. And we're looking really for more support to get this to where it can get to. We think it has huge potential to lift the whole community in Hong Kong. So without dedicated staff, we're relying on volunteers, very generous technology platform discounts through TechSoup, who've been great getting us our own systems, but also we've been able to tell other community impact organizations about how we do our work and where we get the discounts from. We've been relying heavily on friends, of course, our families, and a small grant from the Equal Opportunities Commission in Hong Kong for PAT. PAT is the award-winning green logo you see on your screen now, which is a trilingual interactive portal using checkbox AI as its underlying platform that helps women, families and employers deal with pregnancy in a way that is good for mum, good for baby, good for the employer, and avoids legal disputes and unlawful terminations of employment. So really good all round. The other one then, the first top left, is our own digital automation, our paperless office. And the last one, which is Clicks, is in progress right now. We're bringing in technology from Australia. We're collaborating with another NGO to match law firms who can give support to NGOs who desperately need it. So the 2 gaps we see in the system are the community sector has no legal support that they can access immediately and quickly, and also this lack of technology support. So I wanted to give you an example of what we've built so far. This is what our own system looks like. That's products 1 and 2. We'd love to do that for other organizations, and it helps our own sustainability. Product 3, this is the one that we have launched, PAT, which won the 2022 Alita Asia Pacific Legal Innovation Technology Award for innovation and legal technology for good. We're super proud of this achievement. Very briefly then, this is what the Pregnant to Work or PAT portal looks like. Had some nice backing, some great videos, had a lot of fun making this, a lot of input from the community, some really nice reach there with over 27,000 views, looking at the video, people accessing the portal and asking our case management team for help. The portal we're working on does this. It's a digital fix for that systemic social change I was mentioning, getting lawyers to help NGOs, and that's clicks. And a quick fly through who we work with and who we are. This is our board. Victoria Street is our digital star there on the right. 8 people on our board. This is our fabulous team. Really interesting, diverse group of skill sets. And these are the 19 community organizations we currently work with. We'd love to see that quadruple with some investment and support. Universities, we work with Hong Kong U. That's it from me. I'm very happy to take questions. Thank you for the opportunity to tell you a bit about equal justice today. Over to you, Nicholas.
Thank you, Kay. We stayed silent because obviously, you know, such an impact and such a goal, such a mission is always overwhelming and awesome. So big congratulations on tackling that issue as you decided to do. A quick question, because we still have a minute or so, was more to understand exactly, you know, what's the mechanics behind. So on the first 2 products, obviously, as an NGO or someone helping those people, I can get some assistance on the tech side and the law side. Do you connect me with some people as you do in Clicks, or is it really fully automated and only digital?
So the idea is twofold. It's helping to develop they'll get the discounts from the providers using our charitable status. Most tech companies give amazing discounts, if not things for free, actually, to not-for-profit organizations and social enterprises. So it's making sure we look at what an organization needs and getting those discounts, and then helping them to set those up, and then also the downstream reporting. So it's a full service. We'll get you set up so that you are paperless and able to do your internal stuff and also maximize your external reach and scale.
Fantastic. Kay, we are running out of time, but thank you so much for being with us today. I hope that everyone who is listening is now already motivated to help you, whether you are a tech company or some talents that can join the team. Feel free to reach out to Kay. That's also the mission of such a conference. So thank you, Kay. Our best wishes to you, and let's keep in touch. Talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And now let's move to something completely different, but super interesting company who's been doing very well so far. Transact. Transact is a company which is enabling people to on-ramp and off-ramp users for their own app on the Web3 and crypto space. So we will learn more about Transact. We are very eager to understand more about that company. We have with us Yeshu. Hello, Yeshu. Can you hear me?
Hey, hi. Hey, hi, Nicholas. Nice to meet you.
Fantastic. So Yeshu, I will leave you the floor. You can present briefly Transact. You can share screens. I'll be back in 5 to 7 minutes max, as we may have some questions for you. The floor is yours.
Okay. Hey guys, hi everyone, this is Yeshu. I'm one of the co-founder and CTO in Transact. We started Transact in 2019. We are solving the onboarding problem. And right now we are doing millions of volume. We are 88 plus team members. And yeah, that's overall summary. And I'll just walk through it, like what exactly we are doing here in Transact. So we are solving onboarding problem to Web3. So basically right now, when it comes to onboarding, like in Web3, there are around 300 million users directly or indirectly using Web3, right? Like you may see like big names coming in, like, and what we are seeing is like the market is going towards 1 billion users adoption coming in by next year, saying some names like PayPal, Google, and all. What Transact is doing, we are solving the onboarding problem, and the onboarding is not straightforward to any Web3 app. Like right now, let's say Adidas launched their own NFT, like people go to OpenSea, and or there are many frictions, and people spend lots of hours and they drop off and they are unable to onboard and get into those apps. So Transact is solving this onboarding problem in less than 10 minutes. That is something we are the main problem solving. Let's deep down the problem and solution. So right now, before starting Transact in 2019, people were doing around 17 steps in order to use any Web3 app, games or something. Like user were visiting the app, downloading the wallet, learning about wallet thing, like going to the exchange, doing the KYC. Then again, they were buying the cryptocurrency from, let's say, like buying the gas token, learning about gas tokens. So they were buying two tokens and all, and like doing 4 transactions, and then at last using the app. So it's like there was a big learning curve and spending hours and hours, even days, to use that Web3 app. We launched Transact, and we squeeze out all these blue steps, which you are seeing here, into one green steps, which you are seeing here, right? And we build a whole onboarding stack. So we are live in right now 150 plus countries, supporting 21 local payment methods. We have licenses in the UK. We have MSB in the US. We have local payment methods in Southeast Asia, Thailand, Philippines, and India, like US, UK, Europe. So yeah, we build all these KYC, AML, fraud engine, KYC, passport, and building the SDK. So what people do is people integrate Transact in their app. It's like a payment gateway, right? Crypto payment gateway. And people go to, let's say, Aave, they basically, like without leaving the app like Aave, they kind of buy cryptocurrency directly from any decentralized app, and they kind of use that app like that way. So this is what Transact does. And we are heading towards, we recently launched this Transact 1, which is like, we remove all these steps from 12 steps to 5 steps with the onboarding. Now, user use this app very easily, like in just few clicks. Like what we are doing, we directly doing fiat, like INR or GBP or USD directly to the protocol, to Aave or smart contracts directly. So here we are all the hard steps we are doing under the hood on behalf of the user. And what we are focusing on, and also we are doing fundraising, is we are going into Auth SDK, wallet space, self-custodian wallet SDK is like we want just like Web2 experience you see, right? Like you log in by Google and you click one click, you pay, and you use that, start using that Web2 app. Same experience we want to do it for Web3 app. It's just like log in by Google, we create a wallet under the hood, and user just like a one click pay, and they kind of start using that. This is something which we are seeing as an onboarding solution of all these problems. And by next year, we're gonna ship this product. And so yeah, that's more like our vision thing. Let's jump into the numbers directly. So before numbers, these are our competitors out there: Transact, MoonPay, Wire, Ramp, and we have local pay methods, off-ramp. We're coming up with Wallet SDK, and some of the upcoming products like NFT checkout using fiat is with us, and we are serving these products. In terms of volume, like we are doing somewhere around like in Q2 we did like around $126 million volume. In Q1 we did $165 million volume, and our net is somewhere around 1%. So we make 1% in every transaction, and yeah, that's our pretty much volume. In terms of our coverage, I'll just so we are live in these countries, supporting all these payment methods, having licenses in UK, Europe, MSB license in the US, and all the countries we are like live with card payments. Also in some of the countries we are having local payment methods. Then we also, as part of we are converting from fiat to crypto. So we are having support of different blockchains, like we are having liquidity system and automatic inventory system in 10 plus exchanges. Like we make sure we use the buy cryptocurrency at best price. So yeah. Then we are developer first. So we are majorly we are focusing on having very good robust APIs, having very highly customizable widget to our partners. Right now we are live with wallets. Like you may find us in MetaMask, Trust Wallet, Coinbase Wallet, Ledger. With games, you will find us in Decentraland, Paraswap, Aave, 1inch, Lbank. Like all of these apps are using us right now. And yeah, like on an average, we are doing millions of volume every month. So yeah. These are the other reviews by some of the apps who are using us: MetaMask, Hyperswap, Trust Wallet. And our team is working from coming from top fintech companies like Paytm in India, like Flipkart, and most of our team members in India, like around 70 people are in India, and we have our sales team in all over the country, all over the world, like in US, UK. Compliance team also is from US. So my co-founder is from UK, I'm from India. So we have a cross-culture team. That's also one of the strength we have, expanding into different countries. So yeah, that's our team. And we raised around $9 million so far by these companies, Animoca Brands, Consensus, and all. Right now, we are raising $10 million at 150 million cap in safe round. So if you guys are interested, please let us know. And yeah, please contact me. Yeah, that's yeah.
Thank you, Yeshu. Fantastic achievement so far. We are quite impressed. So a quick question for you before we close. As you are obviously, helping all those apps and companies in the Web3/crypto space to onboard their customers, you may have a sort of a good observation seat for us on this market, which is Web3 crypto. We all heard about, those sort of crypto winter that we are experiencing, but what are your vision on the evolution of that market for the coming, say, 1 year? What do you think?
Yeah, like we are seeing right now, many crypto apps are mostly like driving volume from wallets, and like trend is going towards, you may see like exchanges also, volumes are going towards DEX exchanges. People are using DEX more instead of centralized exchanges. And I'm seeing like many apps, like fintech apps, example, PayPal also started introducing crypto, buying crypto, and Cash App and all these things. So I'm seeing like many DeFi, CeFi, and games gonna adopt crypto, and basically they'll be needing an onboarding suite, onboarding toolkit for crypto. They'll be needing licenses and all these things. So we see that like there's a big trend coming where people will be using these apps to get into crypto space instead of going to the exchange directly and getting into those apps. So that's majorly as a short-term one year thing which I'm seeing.
Fabulous. Thank you very much for sharing those knowledgeable insights with us. As Yeshu mentioned, so to the whole investors community, watch out. Transact is raising nowadays, so if you are interested, please contact us or the company. But that's an interesting company to follow. Thank you, Yeshu. Back to work. I think you have a lot to do, obviously, so we'll leave you there. Enjoy the conference. If you can listen to the live stream as well, we will be happy to have you with us. Bye-bye, and talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, bye.
All right, we are now with Dylan. Dylan is representing WeVestor, and WeVestor has been developing a solution for founders. And that's an interesting product we want to hear more about. So I'm not going to tell you too much. Let's jump directly with Dylan. Please, Dylan, you can share your screen, you can present your slide. I will let you the floor and be back with some of the questions we get from the audience.
100%. Thanks a lot, Nicholas. You can hear me all right?
Yeah, we see your slide.
All right, perfect. Yeah, exactly. Nicholas, we are, Weavest has found a problem in, as most startups, we are a startup ourselves, only about 2 years old, and founded by 2 founders in Netherlands, and they're serial entrepreneurs or serial founders, and they've successfully grown businesses, scaled them, as well as successfully exited them. And they found this problem in this world, and they've created a solution by just being serial entrepreneurs. So yeah, I think just from that, as I said, founders, for founders, by founders, but it's a shareholder management platform, and from incorporation to fundraising to, stock option plans, we'll simplify the equity to create more collaboration and financial inclusivity within startups. So what essentially that means is just that, by founders, they've seen that there's this problem in this world where they can't create this financial inclusivity, where they want to incorporate stock option plans and they don't have those kind of things within them. And it's really quite hard for them to do. So just pretty much, if you want to look into here, is that we do have, there's the problem, as I said, and founders lack a lot of time. And when it comes to that, we found out that 25% of startups still fail due to misalignment of shareholders and teams, and when it comes to shareholders, they lack transparency, extremely much so. And then on average, a mentored startup grows 3.5 times faster than any other one. And it's 7 times, and with 7 times more investment. But on the same front, and a caveat to that is that 30% of startup investors feel unable to properly advise founders due to a lack of reporting standards. So again, going from a problem phase into a proper solution phase, Weavest has kind of got this equity framework, the startup mentality, where they can properly be able to move equity around, create financial inclusivity when it comes to startups. And then companies lack buy-in. Just to give you a bit of background to that, startups with stock option plans or employee share ownership plans will grow 20% faster than those that do not. But 40% of companies that we've surveyed within some stats that we brought up is that startup founders say that they still don't know what a stock option plan or employee share ownership plan is due to the lack of know-how of creating them. So this platform is a very fancy platform. It's an end-to-end solution when it comes to equity management, as well as cap table management, stock option plans. You can house your financials in there. You can, have a data room of sorts, create documentation. I'm going to take you through the platform a little bit later on, but you'll be able to see exactly what I mean when it comes to the nice interface that we have. And then luckily, so, the solution is centralized equity management to make startup leaders more efficient, to bolster transparency, and to unlock financial inclusivity into the ecosystem. So we create a single source of truth here. Obviously very easy and very, these are good words. A single source of truth is unify the cap tables, the shareholders, the company performance, and equity plans in one platform, and then enable radical transparency. So we take these silo effects within companies and we kind of, we dismember them, and you'll be able to see that stakeholders will be able to create a better collaboration and growth in there. And then we again unlock financial inclusivity. We'll create financial inclusivity by simplifying wealth creation opportunities, ESOPs, and stock option plans. Yeah, because I don't know if I'm making any sense, but I think it's maybe time to show you our platform. Here's just exactly what we do. We'll reward and we'll prepare the fundraisers and stakeholders around the virtual data room. We'll seamlessly integrate this within the ESOP management or the stock option plans and any other kind of equity plans. You'll be able to see it on there. And then this is kind of just our roadmap, but maybe towards the end of our time, I'll come back to this just so you can get a kind of a good grasp of what exactly I am talking about in a good sense. Because can you see my page, right? Perfect. All right, so yeah, you can see that it's kind of, this is our landing page, it's our dashboard, and here you can see that there's a, there's an investment valuation, shareholder share price, as well as the total amount of shares. And yeah, these are just 4 pretty much wizards, and it's just a quick overview of exactly what's happening within any kind of startup, founders, and investors. So yeah, it's financial, toggle between the different kind of, viewpoints. You can have any kind of metrics that you want to include or exclude. You can do it like that. And then here, like you'll see your employee share ownership plans within your cap table and your top 5 shareholders in your cap table. It's similar to the financials is KPIs, and here's a little company description with quick company information, as well as any of your handles. Sorry, your handles. And here, cap table, I'll go into a bit more details here. You'll be able to see very, nice user phase in that way. You'll see that there's employee share ownership plan or appreciation pool. You'll see the amount of percentage within there. You can see all the different ones. And then there's the round shares investments. Similar to shareholding, of course, rounds, and you'll be able to see the time periods within these rounds that have come in, and then the investment amount and the valuation and the changes within those valuations, as well as the change in the share price. Loans and convertibles, easy enough. Great way to see loans and convertibles when it changes from some form of debt into an equity. And we know that within startups, there is some kind of loan, some kind of equity, some kind of convertibles that's in place. And maybe, just within here, you can see that there's total debt, there's loans amount, and we can go into a little bit further detail if you really want to see that these guys, what they've invested, the time period, if there's an interesting component towards it, if there's a tag along or drag along rights in there, any other kind of discounts and so on. And then yeah, we can obviously see that, as soon as the revenue trigger comes in of that amount, that trigger would be, that convertible will be converted. ESOP, great new feature of ours. We can see that here, there's a, difference between pools, plans, and grants. You'll be able to see that within here, you can create any kind of pool, and then similar to from the pools, you'll be able to see the plans. So we do know that obviously companies have different types of plans in here, and you'll see the additional founders, employee share ownership plan. These things you can make up as much as you want. If you create these things, you don't have to incorporate them. Maybe it's something that you want to give off to investors to say, we're looking at maybe a management plan, maybe we're looking at an employee stock option plan for all employees. Maybe there's key individuals you want to give a stock option to. So we can do all of those kind of things. And then similar to that is obviously the grants that come into it. You'll be able to see who has shares, who has options. There's any kind of exercise price within there. And yeah, something great about it, you'll be able to see if it's linear or custom vesting schedules. And then when's the first kind of, vesting date in there. So we do know typical 4 or 5 years vesting dates, maybe a 1-year cliff, and then they are staggered at a, whatever, at increments or at equal increments thereafter. Scenario modeling, look, I'll take you through this. It's a great new tool that we've incorporated, but I guess within your investments, you as a founder want to go to investors, you want to show them what are the scenarios like, maybe internally, but also to external investors. You want to see what's going on. So we'll name this whatever we want to name it. Let's say type E invest or type E investment, and let's say a valuation of, let's call it, let's be bolster, and it's about 75 million. And then, yeah, obviously difference between pre-money and post-money, or for this illustrative purposes, they say it's post-money. And then, yeah, let's include, okay, I'm going to go X capital. X capital, put in the 200,000, let's put 2 million, and then types of shares. You can have common preference and certificates. You can obviously create your own kind of shares. Illustrative purposes, let's go common, and let's go a tag along rights. We're going to go put Elon, he's going to be a tag along. We'll create this kind of scenario. And here you can see that there's obviously a dilution of some sort, and you can see that X capital has increased and everyone else has decreased their dilution in some way. So yeah, a great way to actually see what's going on when it comes to the dilution. And of course, you can create as many as you'd like to show internally. So obviously in draft form, and you can obviously implement it when you want to go to investors. Similar to financials, a great feature. You can, within the financials, be able to import an XML audit file and really be able to incorporate your financials in here. Again, for the investors that you want to give it off to, maybe there's someone, a key person like your accountant, you want to show them that there's this platform to use and they can really go into it. As I said, it's an end-to-end solution when it comes to equity management, and that's just simply what we really want to do.
Thank you, Dan. I'm sorry we are running out of time, but thank you very much for sharing that demo. A very quick question for you, if you can answer briefly, because it's coming from the crowd. I think it's interesting. When you talk nowadays to founders to propose your solution, how do you find those founders? Are they conscious of the needs of handling those shareholders with your system, or are there is still need for evangelizations of those founders?
Sorry, a visualization, do you mean?
Evangelizations. So do you need to explain to them why they should manage better their shareholders?
Well, it's either we can educate the founders where they can, we show them the platform, we can really show them the simplicity of it and so on, or it's come into their lap where, an investor, they're knocking on another investor's door, an investor's knocking on their door, and they like, well, your cap table has to be, in a sound mind, it has to be able to be presented, because a lot of times, founders are running Excel spreadsheets, and it's not that good to run Excel spreadsheets because it's an editable format. Here it's we are ISO compliant and GDPR compliant. You can store that kind of legal framework within there, but you can also have this like one-stop shop and an end-to-end solution where you'll be able to have this cap table management. You can show it to the investors. You can run scenarios internally to say, okay, listen, if we go to market and this investor wants to invest with us, we think that this kind of investment framework is best suited for us. And we'll see the dilution, because there's going to be a dilution, or maybe they want to raise capital or raise share capital, and they'll be able to see exactly what's going on with that. So it's
thank you very much, Dylan.
Yeah,
thank you very much. Super interesting. So a shout to all the founders and entrepreneurs that we have in the room and in the conference. You have there a fantastic tool to better manage your shareholders and your reporting to them. Thank you, Dylan. Enjoy the day. Stay with us on the conference. Look at the streams and talk to you soon.
Perfect, Nicholas. Have a good day, and thanks again, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
Right. Let's go now and see some gaming companies. So we have with us AdventWorks. Romain, the CEO. Welcome, Romain. Nice to have you with us. I will leave you the floor to present briefly AdventWorks, and we'll be back with some questions probably from the crowd for you.
Awesome. All right, let's start.
You can see your screen, everything is ready. You can go.
Everything is ready? Awesome. Let's start then. Okay. So yeah, we are AdventWorks. We are creating high quality Web3 games for everyone. Our mission is to embark the masses into the metaverse. A few numbers to start. So we did 400K revenue last year. We've got more than 15 people over 7 countries. We are hiring the best talent wherever they are in the world. The game industry, first observation, is going like crazy, plus 25% the last 3 years. When we look closely at this game industry, we can see that mobile gaming is already 60% of those revenue, and it's growing. And the technology that are used on mobile gaming and the audience is the technology and the audience that we will see on the metaverse. So our mission is to embark the masses by providing Web3 experience to this new audience that come from gaming. A few words about AdventWorks. So since the creation of AdventWorks 40 years ago, we're creating a real game factory. So we've got the ability of creating our own game internally and self-publishing them. We developed an extremely cool data-driven process that allows us to really nail future hits and only focus the energy of our team on future hits. So for that, first threshold is to iterate and finding a game with a very cool CTR above 5%, a very interesting CPI. This is a really hard, threshold to reach, much higher than most of the mobile industry. Then we are looking at the playtime, the daily playtime. So we are creating games with a daily playtime of at least 15 minutes. So players are spending at least 15 minutes in our game, and then we work on the profitability of our game. With that, we iterate on a lot of games, and we identified what we call hybrid games. So hybrid games, this is a spectrum of type of game you can find on mobile right now. So on one end, you've got what is called hyper casual. So this is more short session, really focused on ad monetization. On the other end, you've got hardcore type of games, so more really niche type of game and larger production. So what we do at AdvantWorks are hybrid games. So this is right in the middle. They are really hard to nail, but those are simple and addictive games that have understand everything that comes from the hyper casual trends, but with really profound gameplay and experience that monetize well. So this is what we do. We've got 2 games in production right now on that. So hybrid games is a very huge opportunity with a very high audience comparing to mid-core games, and that monetize much better than hyper casual. We've got games with stellar daily playtime, as I mentioned. So our games, the current one we are working on last time at 30 minutes of daily playtime. That's very high for mobile games. And you can see that throughout our portfolio. We developed as well a technology called HyperEdge. This is a toolkit and an engine that allows us to produce games faster than the competition, which is extremely important to be placed, on the map. A few words about our games. Right now, we are working on Last Stand. This is a very intense zombie shooting game. As you can see, we've got a lot. The USP is about having a lot of zombies that go at you. So you've got multiple playable characters. We've got 8 playable characters with different gameplay. All of them are living assets, so they will be on they are on Polygon, and they are NFTs that evolve with the game. On top of this really intense core game loop, you've got a meta game where you can go on a base and unlock different elements. In another genre, we've got Real Horse, which is a game that talks to a lot of people that are horse lovers. So we've got a very nailed core game loop about horse racing, where you've got the competition, you've got an RPG layer taking care to update your horse with stats, and then you've got the Tamagotchi part of the game where you need to take care of your stable of horses. So all of our horses are NFTs. NFT that we call living assets, so they evolve with the game. About that, this is what we think about what the Web3 and blockchain should be all about. It should start in the gaming industry by a great game first. Once you've got a great game, you build a Web3 experience. So this is what we do, Web3 games for everyone. Our unfair advantage is our ability to creating direct-to-consumer games. We've got this factory for doing that. We've got the ability to create really profound and addictive games with very high playtime. And we've got this huge experience of creating digital goods that players really want, to exchange together on the marketplace. With that, we've got very cool innovation there. I mentioned the living assets. So this is a new way of doing NFTs. So this is not just a static elements on our horse game. The more you play, the more the NFT which is behind your horse evolve. So the stats of your horse evolve when you change it visually as well. When you paint your horse, it's evolve on your NFT and on your marketplace. Second, we are doing optional Web3 flow to be able to embark the mass again. So we propose marketplace, Web3 marketplace only to engaged player, and we do that in a streamlined way with a very simple and smooth onboarding. And we are iterating on a lot of cool way of using the blockchain as well. So don't miss the hybrid Web3 train. We are your ticket for that. A few words about the team. So we gather a very cool team with my associate. We met at Ubisoft. I was a producer on Watch Dogs and on Fable at Microsoft Games. Aline, she's our chief game design. We've got 15 people in 7 countries from the game industry and digital native. In terms of finance, first year we are going to generate 3.7 of revenue, creating more hybrid games and work on our tech HyperEdge that's going to be eventually propose to other studios. And we are raising 2.5 million euros right now. Tickets are there. We've got some M&A proposition right now. We try to close for mid-September, so don't hesitate to contact me. You can scan this, and I would be super happy to discuss with you in details about all that. Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you, Romain. Efficient. We'll get back to the fundraise as well. But a quick question. What do you think of, because your mission is to embark, right, the mass market into Web3, which is a great mission, obviously. We understood from your presentation that, it starts with the game. So finding the right game to onboard those people. Do you see, though, any other kind of challenge that the industry should solve, to get that mass market to Web3? Any tech challenge, or what do you think?
Yeah, so there are a lot of tech challenge there. So the onboarding process is extremely important. So making sure this is really easy, to create your wallet. So what we are going to do is using a tech that allows us to create the wallet streamlinedly, for the player. So he will just log in with a Facebook and a Google account. So no, password to create or very complex element to do. And then our marketplace is in fiat, so you can exchange in fiat. So you don't necessarily have to be, a crypto educated person to be able to use our marketplace. And we think this is extremely important for our audience. And again, we need to make sure, our game, this is only with the use case that, people will see the value of their digital assets. So when, a player spend, 3 weeks taking care of a horse, choosing the name, talking to them, because they can talk to them, taking care of them, training them, they will see the value of that, and the marketplace will make sense. So this is the really other way around from maybe some other Web3 initiative where they start from the NFT and they build the game around that, right? So
yeah, okay, fantastic. And one last point for you, as we have a lot of investors in the crowd, what would be the dream investors you would like to have on board?
So we would love to have someone first, that embark with us in our mission. We know this is going to be a huge game changer without doing any pun there. But yeah, so people that are that love games first. Clearly, because we are passionate about games, we've got a really great team of people from the industry that love games, and that think that Web3 is going to be an incredible experience with us. So with some experience into Web3 would be absolutely fantastic.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Romain. So shout out to the investors around us. Anyone who is big fan of gaming, please contact Romain and see if you can be part of the travel of the adventure. See you soon, Romain. Bye-bye. Thank you very much for being with us and sharing.
Thanks a lot. See you soon. Bye.
Hello. And so now we have with us Sarah. And Sarah is the CEO and co-founder of Niftyz. Niftyz is about creating new digital properties, NFTs, from assets. And so we will listen to you, Sarah, to explain to us exactly what's the revolution you want to bring to that space. You can share your screen and the floor is yours.
Hopefully you see my screen now.
Yes, we do.
Okay, perfect. So thank you so much for having me here today. I'm Sarah, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Niftyz.io, and also a proud partner of Scaleup Impact Summit today. So I'm pretty sure I don't need to explain to people in the room what NFTs are. They're with over 80 million items listed on OpenSea and counting. This is definitely one of the fastest growing areas of the Web3 space, from art to entertainment, gaming, and fashion, you name it. But whether you like these pictures or not, and whether you think they have utility or not, this is still a market that is currently worth $37 billion and growing. So when we're looking at businesses, how can they really harness the real power and utilities of NFTs. So here is Nifty.io, the first NFT platform for the B2B space. We actually spotted a gap in the market because businesses don't feel represented in this space. And that's why we are helping them to actually productize and monetize their digital property and IP by helping them to turn pitch decks, reports, memberships, events, and know-how in more tradable, tradable NFTs. So let's take a look at how the platform works. When you log into the Nifty's platform, you can get one of our OG premium accounts that will give you the opportunity to create your unique NFT business profile, which is a QR code that really redirects to all the NFTs that the businesses will create. We call it a transactional business identity, like a LinkedIn on steroids, basically. Then you can create and choose, you can choose a template that is available on the site, or even create your own from, signaling an S round or productizing your know-how. You can upload all your documents, video demos, perks, newsletters, and much more. And finally, you can set your own rules, targeting, access rights, give it a price, and mint and earn from your digital property, or even just give it away for free. So these are some of the use cases. As you will notice today, when you log into your SIS account, you can actually mint your NFT avatar, and that will give the possibility to the team to actually drop new exciting offers and perks for future events. But we're also actually working with memberships associations such as Crypto Valley to engage their members. We are also working with lawyers, architects, and service businesses to productize their reports, templates, and much more. And finally, we're also working with Web2 and Web3 startups to help them tokenize their consultancy services, creating token-gated surveys, and much more. At the moment, we have two options. We have a basic option, a basic plan that will go live later on in the year and that is free, and a pro plan that is currently available on the website. And you can get one of those for only 0.2 Ether at the moment. And that will guarantee lower transaction fees. And of course, a lot of other perks, such as, having access to our NFT Academy and having NFT certificates, and also earn from our partners program that is totally on-chain. In terms of product roadmap, we are currently in testnet, going to live net at the end of this month. So I will be at Token 2049 in Singapore, demoing the platform and showing how that whole thing works with our great new beta testers. But we also have a very packed roadmap ahead of us with some exciting features. We are officially kicking off our seed round. The capital will be deployed to strengthen our partnerships and marketing, but also to expand to new territories such as Asia Pac. And of course, last but not least, definitely to strengthen our platform. We want to be fully multi-chain, and we also want to develop a white label solution, as a lot of our current beta testers are asking for one. This is our amazing team. I'm based in the UK together with Denisa, Muskan, and Harry, who are here today. And if you actually receive a message from them, please say hi. Russell is actually based in Saudi, and Sebastiano is our star, and our business CTO and the blockchain lead is based in Italy. We have a great business board and board of advisors, and this is just a selection of those. Our investors, we're proud to actually be one of the graduates of Launchpad Luna and have Animoca Brands and Brink as our top investors, but we're also backed by universities and of course blockchains, and have fantastic partners and supporters. So join us to turn B2B assets into tradable NFTs. And if you need any information about our fundraise or how to become a beta tester, please get in touch with me today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah, and thank you for being a partner with us today on SIS. We very much appreciate it. Sarah, a question for you. Where are you going to focus right now? We see the fantastic idea you have. We see the market you are targeting. But where and how will you start, acquiring customers? What's the strategy?
Absolutely. So right now, we started to bring customers on board. We didn't expect really to have such an amazing and positive feedback, especially from, Web3 businesses, to be honest with you. They've all heard about, NFTs and how they will revolutionize their world. And we got a mix of feedback. We got those ones who are a little bit more reluctant to test, but we also have those ones who are excited about the metaverse. And our job here is to educate everyone and make sure that they take one step at a time, because, before they get into the metaverse, they need to understand the technology that will enable all these users and their users to get into this metaverse. And these are NFTs, which we describe as the keys for all of these users to actually unlock special content that is either stored on-chain or off-chain, and that will be able to actually create new fantastic revenue streams for everyone. So at the moment, we're surprised because in a very short period of time, we managed to actually get around 70 businesses on board, a mix of service businesses, as you saw, lawyers, we got membership associations, we got Web3 startups. It's amazing the response that we're having so far.
Fantastic. And are you providing some advice to those customers in terms of, the nature of asset they should start with? Or do you think it's like,
100%.
let's go for it?
You know what? I come from a data strategy background, right? And so one of my key focuses here is to always ask one question: what's your goals and objectives as a business? So, we are basically here to, support businesses to understand how to leverage a technology to create value for themselves and their end customers. So this is basically the job that we're doing day in, day out with the team. And, it's more about letting them understand that whatever assets they have right now that is not monetized, it could be monetized and it could generate revenue. So that is basically where we come from, really.
Okay, fantastic. And what about the big vision you have? We can understand the market is huge. There's a lot of opportunities there, as you said, a lot of assets that are not even monetized today, not even known maybe. That you can monetize, but what's the big vision? You want to share knowledge, or you want to or create a sort of secondary economy around those assets? What's the idea?
Yeah, I think the biggest vision is to become the leading DApp in the B2B space, enabling really businesses to create new revenue streams through the use of NFTs. So we really see NFTs becoming the natural step for businesses to turn their static LinkedIn profiles into something more dynamic and transactional that can really generate value, as I said before, for themselves and their end customers. So we also believe in zero waste. And we actually created something that's called input economy, meaning that we want to really enable businesses to turn all of this unmonetized work and time, into something tradable that has got value, because it does. So let me give you an example. For instance, let's take accelerators and incubators. They select less than 3% of the startups applying for their cohorts. And, the others that are not selected remain in the cold. So now instead they can take all of these leads and turn them into something that is really valuable. So for instance, they can provide pre-acceleration membership programs for the top 20% of the applicants and give them a badge of approval so that the startups can increase their chances of, getting funded. So it is really a win-win situation. And we've actually created, when I'm talking about 70 beta testers, I'm talking about 70 different business models that we are creating with NFTs. We got amazing ones for recruitment space. We got some amazing stuff for investors. So, things that, when you talk to these businesses, you just tell them you give them another spin and they're going to be like, wow, I didn't think about this. And, the fact that it's not, you don't need to do long implementations. You can just basically take these documents, drag them, drop them into a platform, create an NFTs and promote them everywhere. This is revolutionary.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for all those explanations. We can feel the passion, so it's super exciting. Thank you for being with us. Talk to you soon.
Bye,
and
guys.
2 days with us on the conference.
Absolutely, absolutely. And mint your NFT avatar.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye now. All right, we are now welcoming John with us. John is the CEO and co-founder of NeoSwap. John, maybe you were in the waiting room, so you didn't hear, but the previous startup is creating even more NFTs. I think it's good news for you. As you will see, dear audience, John is working on a very, very nice idea about increasing the liquidity in the market of NFTs, but not the way you would think of. So, John, I'm not going to tell people, let's leave the floor to you, and you can explain your mission and your ideas.
Sounds great. All right, thank you, Nicholas. And thank you everyone for being here today. Okay, I'll start sharing. Here we go. Okay, well, I am Dr. John Ennis. I'm a PhD mathematician who did his postdoc in computational neuroscience. Then I founded Agora, a successful enterprise AI services business. And now I'm leading NeoSwap, where we are engineering perfect swaps by design. So the central problem that NeoSwap solves is that the world is missing trillions of dollars of economic activity. And the reason for that is that many real-world assets, or many of the most valuable real-world assets, are relatively non-fungible and illiquid. So the question is, what if we could create an economy where unwanted but valuable goods could be easily swapped or exchanged for other goods, and not in one-to-one trades and not like barter? This is not barter, that's important. This is the evolution of currency. You see, in this trade, this is a trade between 20 different agents. These are NFTs that are being traded. Eventually, all of the world's valuable assets will have their ownership recorded on-chain as NFTs. And in this situation, we've got 20 people conducting a trade at the same time using basically goods and currency, okay? Now, the way I got into this, I really feel I was put on earth to solve this problem and to bring this change to the world. When I was 12, we came down on Christmas morning, and my father, who's a famous scientist, wanted to run an experiment on the family. He gave out all the Christmas presents at random and wanted to see if the children swapped the Christmas presents with each other, if they would end up where they're supposed to be. Well, the answer is actually they don't, if you just have children swapping one-on-one. But it got me very interested in the problem. And I worked on this. Actually, every Christmas was like that for us. And as I was growing up, I eventually, in 2017, after I'd done my PhD in math, I wrote the first version of the NeoSwap algorithm, which is the algorithm that's at the heart of our framework, which is an algorithm for finding best multi-way trades in groups involving goods and currency. So what makes this possible now? In 2017, I thought about, and I even worked on the problem of doing this in the real world, but it's too complicated at first. Multi-way exchanges are too complicated to start in the real world. And even in Web 2, you're stuck inside somebody else's environment trying to innovate. And that's very, very difficult. But in Web 3, we have a lot of freedom. We have the interoperability. We've got blockchain transparency. We can see who owns everything. When we have a complex exchange, we can write a smart contract to make the trade happen. And we can use machine learning, which of course continues to develop, which will allow us to not only find trades inside events, but to predict which trades will be valuable outside of events using the data from the events, which we call parties. All right, so here's an example of a multi-way swap. We've done hundreds of these on the Stacks blockchain. We'll be launching on Solana very soon. So this is something that's really the right time to get in because it's really about to explode. We've got here 7 people who couldn't sell their NFTs, came together in an event and very quickly found this multi-way trade. Tien is what this. Tien is giving away 2 NFTs that she doesn't want. She wants, and so she's getting some currency. And similarly for everyone, this is a good trade, and NeoSwap makes money on every trade. Now we have great traction on Stacks. In the interest of time, I won't go through all these details, but I should say we've seen during our test period, 12-week test period, 21% user growth, 42% attendance growth, and currently somewhere between 25% and half of all the potential users of our platform on Stacks use it once a week. 15% of users use our platform 20 or more times a week. So we've really have great uptake. We've increased the liquidity of Stacks tremendously. In fact, more than half of all the secondary market trades on Stacks now happen on our platform. So we have this innovative party format where we bring together groups of people. It's fun. There's a real social need that's met. People love it. And in these parties, you list NFTs you want to sell, you set your prices, you pick the NFTs that other people have brought you want to bid on, and you set your budget. That's an important point that we can talk about in a follow-up call if you're interested. And then you find your trade, we write the contract, and the trade happens. And when you get this deck, you click here and see a demo. Now we have this unique community-driven approach that's really setting us apart. That I think this is very Web3 forward. In fact, we believe we've discovered the native economic form of Web3. These small group events are very tied to the fact we have natural partnerships with NFT communities, artist collectives, games, and so on. Bring together groups of people, facilitate trades, gather data, and then use the data from the trades to propose trades outside of the parties. Okay, so we'll launch on Solana. We'll have thousands of parties happening at the same time. That's the central problem that we have to solve, is how do you scale the parties? And for that, there are many ways to scale the parties. We can go into these details in a follow-up call if you're interested. We're looking to companies like Eventbrite, Meetup, even Tupperware, Global Poker, and affiliate marketing is a very natural way for us to move forward. But in Web3, you have lots of communities. We're partnering with those communities to bring all these parties to the world. The data are off-chain. The party data off-chain are extremely valuable. It's almost dream come true data from a market research perspective. People are telling you which items they want to sell and for how much, which items they want to buy and for how much. That you couldn't get better data if you're going to start proposing trades. And that's what we're doing. We proposed at this point dozens, in fact, well, really numerous AI proposed swaps outside of the parties, automated swaps. Okay, so we're live on Stacks. We will be live on Solana reasonably soon. We have an alpha version that we are testing. And as the world's, once this is all very solid, we will be moving forward. So we need to learn how we'll be doing on Solana. Then when we're ready, we'll move to other chains, starting with Ethereum. As the world's assets come on chain, the total addressable market here will be in the trillions, and we will be at the heart of it, powering a circular smart economy for digital and physical goods. We have a great team. The other two co-founders worked with me at my previous company as a director of technology and head of AI. We are now fully on NeoSwap. My other company is still running, but running without us. We've got former project manager at IBM, a former VC, a crypto educator from Africa, and professor of computer science, who's really the world expert on the design of electronic marketplaces as our head of research. So technically, we have an exceptionally strong team, and we work together very well. Okay, diverse group of advisors, including a mix of crypto native and generalist VCs, as well as different CEOs, even a behavioral science professor. So we have here for our ask here, we are in the middle of raising our pre-seed, which will be 1.5 million. We've already received more than 1 million, which gives us about 12 months of runway. We have a limited space remaining. We've got a $375,000 campaign going with Angel Hub. So I would encourage you to invest through Angel Hub if that's a possibility for you. Otherwise, please contact me, John Ennis at neoswap.ai. So thank you.
Thank you, John. Absolutely fantastic. So indeed, NeoSwap is raising on Angel Hub. So watch the space and look at Angel Hub platform if you want to invest. John, I had a couple of very practical questions from the crowd, which I find quite interesting for those. First of all, they want to know if they can at some point create their own party, for instance, and invite their own friends or their own community to swap. Or is it something that is, led by NeoSwap team only?
Whether they can or no, definitely they can bring. The whole point of the platform is that we have a self-service platform where people will be able to come and host parties for their friends. In fact, we just introduced a birthday party format that's actually quite fun. But it isn't just that. It's going to be all the partners will be able to host. So you'll have games where all day long trades will be happening in those rooms. Okay, so we're going to be having thousands of parties. That's the thing that we have to do.
That's fantastic. And as you mentioned, the data on those parties are used to train your AI. Are you going to also, inform people that maybe there is some swaps or some NFTs out there that could be interesting to them?
Yes, that's right. And we've already done that. So when we have these proposed trades, what happens is, what is one really kind of magical thing about the AI side of this is when people are coming to the parties, we learn a lot about the on-chain behavior. So we can predict very well which items people are going to like. And then we can look in our network and we can run what are basically simulated parties, okay, and bring people together in a simulated way. So I can come to you, Nicholas, and say, look, we don't think that you really want these NFTs, but we think you really like these. Would you like to do a trade? And maybe there's some currency involved, okay? We can even propose sales. That's something else we can do. So you may not even, in fact, in some of the trades, people didn't know they wanted the items, but they did like the trade. So there's a recommendation engine part of this as well.
Wow, that's super exciting. Thank you, John, for being with us today. And so again, shout out to the investors. The campaign is on and it's going fast. So do not miss on that opportunity. Talk to you very soon, John. Enjoy the conference with us and see you soon.
Thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, and now, last but not least, Mariam is with us. And so we are super happy to have you with us, Mariam. Mariam is representing the company Breshna. It's a platform that empowers users to create, share, and monetize as well some videos that they have created, video games. And it's helping you to do so without any coding or design skills. So I'm very curious to learn more about that. I'm sure the audience as well. So Mariam, you can share your screen. I think you may even don't have any slides for us. Yep. So that's even better. It's only you.
We're going to have a conversation.
We can focus on what you have to say to us. The floor is yours anyway.
Thank you so much, Nicholas. I just want to have a conversation and just tell you a little bit about Breshna. So let's start with the fact that you can actually make, did you know that you can actually make a video game in less than 10 minutes? Hi, I'm Mariam Nusrat, and I am transforming the video games industry so that people like you and I can make our own video games at lightning speed. Now, Nicholas, you probably know that video games are really powerful communication tools, right? The impact that they leave on our brains far transcends the virtual boundaries in which we play them. Like I grew up playing SimCity, and I was learning about urban planning without even knowing I was learning about urban planning. Now, if video games are such powerful communication tools, why do we not see them being mainstreamed in industries beyond entertainment? That's not happening until now. We have created a platform that empowers users to create their own educational, marketing, training, entertainment video game without writing a single line of code. So Breshna is no code and creates games at lightning speed. And the lightning speed is actually where it gets its name from. So Breshna actually means thunder and lightning in the Pashto language, which is my mother tongue. I'm originally from Pakistan. I moved to the US around 10 years ago. It's 7:30 a.m. in DC right now. And one of the things that we've just been really passionate about is democratizing content creation through video games. So think about a math teacher, right? Kids hate math and they hate math tests. And think about a math teacher who can, right before her lesson plan, turn her math test that has 10 questions into a Super Mario kind of game, where you're catching all the right answers and you're dodging all the wrong ones. So you're catching the even numbers, you're dodging the odd numbers and stuff like that. And students have a lot of fun doing that. So with Breshna, anyone can engage their audience in a fun and impactful way. It's kind of like the Canva or the TikTok for video games, right? Now, we've only been building Breshna for less than a year, and we've made mad progress. We've had 100,000 users from 92 different countries that have made and played games on Breshna. And these games kind of fall in 4 different categories. There's entertainment games. So people have made Trevor Noah, Makeup, Halloween, prom proposal games. There's education games like English, math, geography, history, science. There's social impact games, games on climate action, financial literacy, COVID-19 awareness. And then there's marketing and training video games. We've also raised $2.4 million in seed funding, and we're backed by key strategic investors, including Blockchain Founders Fund, 11 Tribes, Bill Ackman, and also Paris Hilton. Now, the journey of Breshna is just beginning, but I have actually been in the education and serious games industry for the past decade. For this work, I've been recognized on the Forbes Next 1000 Entrepreneur list, and I've also received the Clinton Global Initiative Honor Roll Alumni Award. I'm doing this work with a team of 25 passionate game changers. We're very diverse, we're capital efficient, and we're committed to transforming this billion-dollar industry so that everyone, no matter where they are in the world, can make their own video games without any coding, without any design skills at lightning speed. We're headed to the moon, and we would love for you to join our rocket ship. So what do you say? Are you game? Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mariam. Such a passionate conversation. That's super interesting. Where did you get that idea? honestly. It's surprising, and it's quite refreshing. So what was the trigger? You know, what was the situation when you said, okay, I need to bring everyone on the scene and make them able to create those games?
Absolutely. So, Nicholas, I've actually spent 12 years working at the World Bank across 22 different countries in education. And one of the things I realized very quickly was that no matter what country I went to, education was very boring, right? It was always, here's the PowerPoint presentation. This is not just education, purposeful communication, health, financial literacy. Whenever you want to change someone's behavior, it's always, here's a brochure, here's a PowerPoint presentation, go change your behavior. And for me, I'm passionate. I think video games are so powerful. I grew up playing games, and I actually grew up playing casual games. The average casual gamer is a 36-year-old woman, not, what we would think is a 22-year-old playing Call of Duty in a basement. It's actually a 36-year-old woman often playing Candy Crush on the metro. And I think that these hyper casual games have so much power, but they are not being mainstream because they're very expensive to make and they take a very long time. So I just wanted to empower people out there so that they could make their own video games and empower people to tell a story through video games, make the TikTok or the Canva for video games. And now it's not just making your game, we're building an entire Web3 layer. So you will not only be able to make your game, you'll also be able to own it and monetize it. So there's an entire marketplace where you'll be able to put your own NFTs in your own video games, and a virtual carnival where you'll be able to take the games, display them, and make money if you've made a really cool game.
That's incredible. And how do you see that impact on the Web3 gaming space as we see it today, which is quite complicated and heavy in terms of development? Do you see your crowd of creators entering that space also easily?
I love that question. So, Nicholas, right now, most of the games that we've seen have looked at a play to earn model, right?
Yeah.
So it's mostly go in, play the game, and you go in to earn tokens. So it's almost like, first of all, it should be play and earn, not play to earn, right? I mean, games have to be fundamentally fun so that someone's going in to play them, and then they also happen to earn the token. We're bringing in a make and earn model. So now we're saying not only do you get tokens for playing games, you also get tokens for making games. So the content creator economy that's out there, we're unlocking that for video games. So there's two big differences. First of all, not just play to earn, but also make and earn. Secondly, the kinds of games. So most of the games that you see are like AAA, deep, immersive environmental building right now in Web3. They're very, open world role-playing games. We're saying, what about this entire genre of mobile casual gaming? Like that hasn't really been brought into Web3 right now. So we're trying to do that. And actually, there's a third difference, which is let's not limit it to entertainment. Let's take it beyond entertainment. What about Web3 gaming for education? What about Web3 gaming for marketing? What about Web3 gaming for training? So we're basically disrupting the content creation economy so that people can create, share, own, and monetize their own Web3 games.
Fantastic. And who are you targeting to start with, in terms of those users/creators, or where can they find you if they are looking to create their own games?
Absolutely. So it's been wild, Nicholas. Like we've seen global adoption and people have made games about all kinds of topics in their own languages, with their own music, with their own art. But the two user categories, the super users that we're focusing on is education, students, teachers, parents, because that's just blowing up. We have teachers in South Africa making math games, teachers in Saudi making Arabic games for science and, physics. And then we have, so education is a strong one. But then there's the content creators. We're living in the generation of TikTokers, right? 16 to 25-year-olds. They want to tell their story through their own content. And that's the other one that we're just seeing rapid adoption in. And we think that that's also going to overlap a little bit with the Web3 content creator economy. So those are the ones we're really focusing on. Anyone can make a game on Breshna. All you need to do is go on Breshna, BRESHNA.io, and you can sign up. It's completely free. You just need an email. You make your own video game. It takes 10 minutes. And if you aren't able to, just ping me and we'll help you make your first video game.
Well, Mariam, that's a very nice conclusion. You know where to go, guys, to create your own videos. Thank you, Mariam, for sharing your passion and your ideas. We hope you will enjoy the conference as well. Stay with us, look at the live stream, get some ideas from other entrepreneurs. That's all the game as well. Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
And now, dear audience, we are coming to the end of that Scaleup track for today, but that's only for today. You've seen 18 very interesting company. I think we have shown for sure the diversity we can see on that market, right? Web3. It's not only about gaming. It's not only about play to earn. You've seen a lot of business models, a lot of ideas coming up. So it's obviously a super exciting time to get into Web3, metaverse, and crypto markets. So stay with us. You can review and see again in replay all the live stream, so you can get what you missed maybe. For those who are on site with us, please go and visit the booth where you will see other startups as well, showcasing their ideas and their business models. And of course, come back tomorrow. Tomorrow is the full day conference. You will have also some scale-ups and of course, fantastic subjects and topics and talks on the main stage as well. So see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.